But we've got a whole tournament to play here.
And it's almost whoever becomes emotional or lets emotion sneak into their play will lose this game, because the past 4 times they've played each other has been a difference of 7 or fewer points, and whoever tries to take the game by the scruff of neck or overrun or run down a channel will lose. That's what these games have come down to in the past, and that's where the pragmatism that will come in and is necessary to win this game at the highest level is absolutely required in this test match.
However, there's got to be an element of emotion firing these Welsh boys, Jamie, because they were humbled in Cardiff. There's some proud boys in that dressing room. You know them way better than I do. Dan Biggar's got 105 caps, George North 111, Liam Williams 83, Dylan Lewis is nearing 50, as is Wyn Jones. They're not going to come to Murrayfield and get their tummy tickled. So it's that fine line, isn't it, between a cool tactical head and making sure they don't find themselves 10-15 points down from the off like they did last weekend.
Yeah, no doubt, and let's hope we don't see cards spoiling this game because of that. And they're proud lads, no doubt. When you lose at home in a test match, your credibility is questioned. Johnny and I have both been there. When you lose at home, it's a horrible feeling. You don't want to let the fans down, you don't want to let your country down, and when you're under that pressure, expect a Welsh side to come out tonight and try and win that advantage line. You've spoken about Warren Gatlin's game plan in winning collisions. However, I look at this Scotland side now and I see players in their back line that can dominate, not just the pretty stuff. We know what Finn Russell and Stuart Hogg can do, but when we look at the likes of Kyle Steyn, Tua Pelotu, Duhan van der Merwe, Hugh Jones, who's a massively underrated player, I think he's a serious footballer. They are powerful, punchy players who can win advantage lines. So it gives me a little bit of fear for Wales that if you don't contain those guys, they might score some tries, Scotland.
That's the main question for Scotland today, isn't it, Johnny? Yes, the Gatlin factor. Yes, it's 6 out of 7 for Wales at Murrayfield. Yes, it's 13 out of 15. But Scotland just have to believe they're the better side than Wales. And any of that exterior stuff, any of the records as the Scotland management just walk past us, they've got to park all that and just go on and win the game because they are the better side. That's what they've got to tell themselves.
They have to, but it comes down to simplicity of international test rugby, which we know is collisions, playing rugby in the right areas. And when you have a backline, as Jamie just mentioned, with Jones, Tuipulotu, van der Merwe, bringing them in at key moments to win you that gain line, those key battles to get you into positions to unlock a defensive line. Yes, absolutely, you have to go for it, but it has to be in the right areas at the right time, and if you overplay, you come unstuck, and that is my little fear in this game. But absolutely, they have to believe in themselves. When it is on, they go for it, they take the game, and they take it to Wales.
12 minutes to go here on Radio 5 Sports Extra. Scotland against Wales, one of the great Six Nations fixtures. The band's ready to play, the players ready to come out of the change room, the anthems all to come. Jamie, you've stood up. Is the spine tingling a bit?
Oh, mate, it's look, I finished last summer. Oh, this is what I miss. Being in the change room, you get the ref knock on the door.
Just give us the emotions. Can you describe them?
No, it's hard to. Yeah. It's hard to describe. There's unparalleled. I can't compare it to anything else. It's a pressure that you can't replicate anywhere. You're representing your country. You're representing all those players that play in your position across your country. You're away from home. But the pressure's on the home team, but there's serious pressure on you because you've lost at home last week and you try and turn that round. So just amazing. I miss it.
About managing those emotions again, it is the atmosphere, the spectacle that when you're here, when you're in these changing rooms, you feel lucky to be part of it. It is absolutely, for me, the best rugby tournament on the planet, and that is it. This generation, this year, and I have a chance to get a hoodoo off their back as a bunch of Scots and win over the Welsh, which we haven't done in a long time. But managing those emotions, enjoying the spectacle in front of your family, in front of the fans, enjoying the anthems, and then when kickoff comes, just getting in and doing your job well. Yeah, awesome to hear you guys talk about it, because I know some of our listeners, many of our listeners would have played amateur rugby, would get those butterflies, but then you amplify it by a factor of N, don't you, when you come to a place like this in the Six Nations with everything on the line. And sometimes, Jamie Roberts, is it that little bit sweeter winning away from home? Because sometimes, yes, there are plenty of Welsh who've made the trip, but it can feel all alone out there for the players.
I used to love winning at home. I used to love playing away from home because the wins were that much sweeter. No one's expecting Wales to really dominate Scotland today. It's going to be a real tight arm wrestle, but I think it'd be an awesome result for Wales if they win this afternoon. Playing away from home when the pressure's a little bit off you, the home team are expected to win in the Six Nations. Home advantage counts for so much. Yeah, look, it's what a place to be as a Welshman this afternoon.
I asked Rory Lawson, Johnny, on our latest Rugby Union Daily. By the way, we'll have a Rugby Union Daily on the whistle today to catch Saturday night into Sunday morning, so make sure you get us there on BBC Sounds. I asked Rory who needed it more in Dublin, Ireland or France, and we agreed that it was probably Ireland being at home, wanting that big scalp, having not beaten the French on Farrell's watch. Who needs this one more this afternoon, Scotland or Wales?
I mean, there is absolutely only one answer to give there for Scotland. They haven't won 2 on the bounce in this championship since 1996. I think for belief, for the confidence, especially with the World Cup coming around the corner, and an aim of still believing to be in the top half of this championship come the end. This game is absolutely massive for Gregor Townsend, for Jamie Ritchie, for all the Scots here enjoying the atmosphere, which is building beautifully. 100% in Scotland.
The players are out as dusk descends on Edinburgh. Jamie Ritchie with the Scotland flag being carried by his side. He leads out the home side, and Ken Owens, the proud son of Llanelli, leading out Wales. Let's rattle through the sides before we have the anthem. Scotland, Schumann, Turner and Fagerson the front row. Fagerson the one change in a tight head. Ritchie, Gray, Gilchrist in the second row. Captain Ritchie, Crosby and Matt Fagerson make up the back row. White and Russell 9 and 10. Tui Pelotu and Hugh Jones in the midfield. Duan van der Merwe, the Twickenham heroes on the left wing. Carl Steyn on the right. Stuart Hogg at fullback. Wales go Jones, Owens and Lewis in the front row. Jenkins and Beard in the second row. Shinzer, Raphael and Morgan the back row. Morgan switching from the flank to number 8. 5 changes in that forward pack in all. Williams and Bigger the 9 and 10. Hawkins and North in the midfield. Dyer, Adams and Liam Williams make up the Welsh back 3. Fraser Brown, James Batty, WP Nell, Johnny Gray, Jack Dempsey, the forward reinforcements for Scotland. George Horn, Blair Kinghorn and Chris Harris the backs. And the Wales bench, Scott Baldwin, Reece Carey, Leon Brown, Rhys Davis, Talupi Falata, one of the axed veterans, Rhys Webb, Rhys Patchell and Alex Cuthbert.
Accompanied by Scottish Rugby President Colin Rigby and President of the Welsh Rugby Union.
And just before the anthems, the Princess Anne will meet the players. Talk us about what's it like as the crowd applaud for Princess Anne. What's it like in this situation when you are pumped up, you've had the flames and the flags and you're waiting for the anthems, but then a little bit of the dignitaries to take place?
We see Gerald Davis alongside Princess Anne then as well. Yeah, you go and shake some hands. It's just a chance to calm the nerves, the emotion of the changing room. We come out to the roar of the crowd. Often as a side, you know, we'd sing the anthems and then we'd go to the corner of the pitch. I think Wales look like they're going to do it after their anthems, where they go and hit a few tackle bags, go and just take a moment, hit a few tackle bags, settle the nerves before kick-off, rather than go straight from the anthem into your positions. All go as a team to the try line, hit a few pads and go from there.
I always find something really frustrating about the pageantry. I'm not sure about you, but once you've had that build-up, you've had your captain's team talk, you've gone through all of your prep, the warm-up's done, to then have this extra 5 minutes, you were just chomping at the bit for the game to start. But it's part of the spectacle. It's something we've come to appreciate, but personally I always find it really difficult to deal with because you just want the game to start.
And so often in these situations you hear captains tell stories and after dinners about forgetting the names of their teammates or something, as Ken Owens is leading Princess Anne down the Welsh line. And a penny for the thoughts, Jamie, of Daffyd Jenkins, third cap, first start, first Six Nations experience, same for Christian. Did you remember those days?
What a place to be. I mean, if you're Daffyd Jenkins, you're 20 years old, it's your first start, yes, but first start in a proper Six Nations cauldron. What a place to be. Look, he knows Alan Wynne-Jones is there. He knows Will Rowlands is to come back from injury. He knows Adam Beard is a bit of a permanent fixture in this Welsh side at the minute. But, you know, if I'm him, if I knock on the door today and have a solid performance, as I said earlier, I'd keep my jersey. I'd put those older guys under pressure. That drives everyone else to better standards. That drives Wales to better chance of winning, moving ahead. So what a chance for this young man. He's got all the tools. He's big, he's abrasive, he's a powerful ball carrier, he's a strong line-out option. He's got all the tools in a box to be a test player for Wales for a long time.
I went to have a cup of coffee with my dad, who's actually staying at the Welsh team hotel, bumped into Ken Owens, and he said that the Wales have had Jenkins and Shinzer up against the likes of Alan Wynne and Falatown Tibrick all week in training, and knowing Alan Wynne-Jones as you do, he's not going to let these young lads have it easy. So he's going to have said, if you're taking my jersey, I'm going to try and put you in your place in training.
Most definitely, and I think as you become more of a senior player, you appreciate your role in the team. No doubt Alan Wynne would have understood his role this week. He would have led by example alongside Justin Tipperick, who also misses out today. Your responsibility is to prepare these guys as best possible. You prepare the starting team, you're on the money in training, you make it as competitive as possible and make sure they're on edge. If you let off, you're letting your team down when you're not in the starting team. So look, those old guys will want to get back into the team, but it's their chance to shine now.
Jamie Ritchie just walking the Princess Royal up and down the line of his teammates, just shaking hands there with George Horn, the replacement scrum half. And it's a sign, isn't it, Johnny Beaches? We wait for the anthems, 3-4 minutes away from kickoff. The fact that Scotland won change, and it's bringing back the likes of Xander Fagerson, Wales ripping up the scripts up front, shows you where these two teams are in terms of their form, their consistency and their continuity in selection.
Well, Scotland looking for consistency in performance. Xander comes back in, British Lion. It's been absolutely excellent for Glasgow as well when chosen this year. Dominates collision, his set piece is second to none. And you'd have to think bring him back. Big test actually with Wyn Jones, who he knows very, very well from the URC and for them time together away touring. But that is the only change. Consistency in performance required. People like Richie Gray back in the squad after a bit of time in the wilderness, now back enjoying his time in the sun, his family and kids now here in the stadium, which he didn't have last time he was part of the Scotland squad. So enjoying the experience for a second time.
Oh, listen to this noise. Listen to the atmosphere around Murrayfield. We're almost at kickoff. The two sets of players are linking arms. In a moment, we'll have Flower of Scotland sung proudly by every Scot in this great stadium. But first, the Welsh players on the 5-metre line to the left of us as we face the halfway line. The officials on halfway. Here's Land of My Fathers. Ken Owens leading his side in song, belting out the anthem. The Welsh players are ready. Here's Flower of Scotland. You're ready to go, Jamie. You want to get out there and carry the first ball, do you?
Man, that is what you dream of. Amazing. Even as a Welshman listening to that, you can't help but absolutely love it. And you know what? You just can't wait. The first carry, you want to get involved as soon as you can. There's nothing worse than being in these test matches and you don't get a carry for 10 or 15 minutes or don't get a shot on someone. You want to be involved from minute one.
And is that where, Johnny, the advantage of being up front, being a Dapper Jenkins or a Shinzi, you're going to hit a ruck, you're going to clear someone out. You could be on the wing waiting 10 minutes if you're not careful, but at least those guys are going to know what this is all about at this level pretty soon.
You want to find your feet, you want to find your confidence, just the first touch, get something, and yes, it absolutely is easy for a front five forward. That being said, if you're the first man receiving the first kick-off that hangs in the air, the pressure on that first kick receive and starting positively is absolutely massive. More importantly though, Jamie Roberts getting goosebumps during Flower of Scotland moment of the day so far. Wonderful.
Oh, there's just beating the Antoine Dupont tackle on who was it on? Mac Hansen, wasn't it? Oh, that is a Six Nations moment for the ages. And as Jamie Roberts predicted, a bit of the Warren Gatlin, Sean Edwards kidology, just making Scotland wait a bit, going and hitting some bags, trying to sap a bit of energy out of this place, which is right on the edge. Scotland are buoyant. They've won at Twickenham. They've got the hat-trick against England. Beating England's old news for the Scots. Can they back it up now? Not since 1996 have Scotland gone 2 from 2 in this championship. And as Dan Biggar was saying, it's the pressure on Scotland, and everyone around us is on their feet because Doddie Weir's sons are coming out with the match ball. This is all about the Doddie Weir Cup, of course, and wearing number 5, it's Rob Wainwright who has the ball in his hand. Members of Doddie's family here too, and Wainwright, who's been cycling the match ball, hasn't he, Johnny? Talk us through the route.
Cardiff, the whole way from
to Edinburgh. I mean, he can barely stand, Rob Wainwright.
He's one of the best athletes that's ever played for Scotland, but again, everything that's gone into Doddie, the foundation, it's absolutely magnificent. The players have bought in. Absolutely wonderful cause for a tremendous man and a wonderful human being. So an amazing moment again. We've had some special ones with Doddie here over the years. Seeing him bring the ball out against the All Blacks in the autumn, I will never ever forget. But an incredible man, an incredible moment as well for Rob Wainwright and his teammates to deliver the team ball. Superb.
555 miles in 5 days from Cardiff.
What an effort.
You'd feel every single one.
No wonder Rob Wainwright was walking a bit gingerly, but with the help...
Waddling,
with the help of Princess Anne, they handed over the match ball to Jamie Ritchie. Then a nice moment as Ritchie and Ken Owens gave each other a high five. We were chatting about this with Rory Lawson on the pod. There's the friendly rivalry between Scotland and Wales. Of course there's intensity, of course there's edge, of course there's bite. But the fact they're playing for the Doddie Weir Cup does sum up the relations between these two great rugby nations. And there's a huddle down in front of us around the tunnel. Rob Wainwright and other people have been on that incredible cycle from Cardiff to Edinburgh, having a bit of a moment, no doubt thinking about the big man who we so sadly lost in November. We are ready to go then as pictures of Doddie go up on the big screen, and Finn Russell, playing from right to left in the Scottish blue, sends up a nice restart towards Liam Williams, but the bomb diffuser has no problem taking that one. Wales playing left to right in their red shirts, white shorts and green socks. Early carry for Wyn Jones, the loose head, but Dan Biggar, as is his want, sloping back into the pocket. Look at all that experience from Biggar, 105 caps for Biggar today. 3 men, as Johnny Beattie points out, in the backfield for Scotland. Kind of 4 if Duhan van der Merwe's halfway back. They know they're going to get a Welsh barrage from the boot as Thomas Williams kicks. As Land of My Fathers rings around Murrayfield, and Duhan van der Merwe, who must be absolutely buzzing with confidence. So Carl Steen actually carrying it. Van der Merwe's on this left touchline. As Scotland on the halfway line, White finds Russell. To a Pelotu wide. To Carl Steen wearing 14. White flipped on from the forwards. Ander Fagerson with a carry from Crosby's tip. Andrew braces the referee, the Irishman, and a long look at that ruck, was tempted to give a penalty as Pierre Schoeman drives on to the cry of skew from the crowd here at Murrayfield. Nice delay from Russell, but that's nicely snaffled by the Welsh forwards, who have an advantage from the knock-on as Williams hurls it out to number 8 Jack Morgan in banging form for the Ospreys. Moving from the flank to number 8. Williams comes to the right. Beard now. Wyn Jones, the British Lion, on 10 metres inside the Scottish half. 0-0 on Radio 5 Sports Extra as the Sheriff, Ken Owens, trundles up to the 10 metre line. Quickish ball for Wales as Biggar throws a dummy and carries into Gilchrist. Scotland got their hands to the ball, but it's loose, and Thomas Williams is dancing and gets one of those nice basketball passes away. And that's Stafford Jenkins with an early touch. That will settle down the young man from Exeter, just turned 20. Scotland with the counter-up. Wales are in all kinds of trouble here, and Scotland are surely sensing a turnover. No, Wales have done well to snaffle there, Jamie, and they're keeping the ball around the 10 metre line.
They are, and you know, we spoke about it pre-match, didn't we? Scotland overplaying in their own half. You know, Wales forcing the mistake, and now, you know, they're in the ascendancy.
And Biggar goes to the sky, just a touch long, easily taken by Russell. Early thoughts from Johnny Beattie.
Just interesting to see the backfield, how they settle receiving the kick. Scotland, as we saw at Twickenham, loading the backfield with 3 if not 4, but instantly we see when they change turnover ball, Scotland, they load that front line. 14 men in the defensive line. Dan Biggar goes to there, but just a little bit too much on it, into the 22. Easy take for Finn Russell and cleared lines.
That first box kick from Thomas Williams was neither a completable kick nor was it far. It was that kind of halfway. Your chase line can't quite get there. Bit of footwork from Stuart Hogg, really put him on the front foot. So they've got to watch that, Wales. This back 3 is dangerous.
Yeah, and Biggar's kick as well, just that tiny bit too long. If Wales are going to play a big kicking game, they need to get that right. They need to get their set piece right too, Johnny, because Ken Owens squinted the line out.
It's strange because it's an area of traditional strength for Wales. Last week they were 75% in their line-out quality and how much ball they take. They'll have to up that this weekend here today if they're going to compete in an area where Scotland were almost imperious at Twickenham. But a disappointing, not a compete from Scotland, just a squint throw and an easy get out for the Scottish pack. Turnover ball and a first scrum for Scotland.
Scottish fans in great voice, and why wouldn't you be after winning so thrillingly at Twickenham this time last weekend? But this is a new challenge. This is the Welsh side with their backs against the wall where they often like to be. Halfway line for the scrum. Ben White goes to feed. Andrew Brace wants it again.
It's an obvious ploy from Scotland to play from minute 1, wasn't it? They didn't want to set up a box kick. They got the ball on their own 10 metre line. You know, Finn Russell going through the phases. Yes, we saw them knock on, but they would have spoken all week about playing from minute 1, no doubt, because they've done it. Obviously, those first couple of minutes probably went against them, but it's their attitude this Scottish side is going to take, hopefully tire the Welsh legs. That pays come minute 50, 60, 70 if you're having to defend all the time. That's what Scotland will be hoping for tonight.
Free kick Wales actually though.
3 far side.
Far side 3. Xander Fagerson driving early, Johnny.
Far side.
Andrew Brace hot on the whistle. Free kick Wales, and I'm sure Biggar will send this high. Oh, he's gone for a kind of George Ford spiral bomb. That is a horrible one to take. Good kick down Biggar. Scotland nowhere near it. Oh, he's given a knock on against Wales, but that's a clever mix-up from Biggar. Horrible ball to catch.
Having sat in many a backfield, the horrible spiral bomb is absolutely the worst ball to take. I think it's something we'll see from Wales under Gatlin. We've seen it loads. Pragmatic play, keeping the ball on the field, kicking long and on, or competing, going to the air, either from Dan Biggar, who is so good with his kick chase, and targeting that back 3. We've spoken about the Scottish back 3, the threat they pose, going forward with time on the ball, but make it a contest, make it keen, aim to tap that ball back, and it's a different ball game.
Biggar lives for stuff like this, doesn't he, Jamie?
He does. We've heard him speak this week about Scotland not necessarily backing it up, chucking a bit of a grenade in there in the press conference, but yeah, confrontational, as confrontational as they come.
Ben White switches to Russell, who goes for the grubber, couldn't quite get it through. Will be a Scottish line out. Switch of play from Finn Russell, who went down the blind side, so enterprising from the Scots but not quite accurate.
And it's what makes me nervous. Again, a Scottish scrum that creaked. The easy option is go open side, kick long and on, stretch the Welsh backfield, find some grass, but there you do not need to go down the short side and grubber into traffic. Really dangerous play from Scotland.
Scotland win the line out, their first line out of the afternoon. 6 minutes gone on Radio 5 Sports Extra from the BBC, and Murrayfield starting to roar because Scotland getting a Bit of traction at the maul. Now they might look to play. Tuipulotu, lovely ball to Hugh Jones. A no-looker. And Jones has gone streaking into the Welsh 22. Lovely stuff from Scotland because Russell came round the back and Jones went on the short ball. Now Russell goes crossfield. Wyn Jones is isolated. Real problems for Wales here. Lovely tap back to Jamie Ritchie, who gets it inside. Stunning rugby from Scotland, who are looking for the game's first points. White, Crosby's the decoy. Russell's going to kick again, is he? No, he's going to throw a wild ball to Jones. Actually, it misses Jones to Stuart Hogg. Liam Williams is on that ball, almost getting a turnover. Has he got it? No, we're going to go back as Wales are offside and Scotland will get 3 at least, but it could have been so much more, Jamie.
What a line break. Tuipulotu delay pass. Look at that. Blind catches George North cold. Spoke about Hugh Jones pre-match. What a player. What a play. He's quick, he's abrasive, clever line. What a crossfield kick that is as well by Finn Russell, who makes this covering tackle. Really good desperation from Wales. That looked like a try for all money. I'm surprised they came out the back of this. Have to go in there wide again off the crossfield kick, but you know, Wales, they're lucky that's only potentially 3, not 7.
What a start for Scotland. First real phase and launch for them. The forwards doing the job, getting them on the front foot with a driving maul. And again, the danger, we spoke about it pre-game, but Tuipulotu, Hugh Jones, the understanding they have from their time together at Glasgow. Lovely sleight of hand on the gain line. Hugh Jones carves straight through. He just asked, could they have kept it tighter, keep that ball, pressurise Wales in the 22. They opted for the big long ball over the top. Great defence by Liam Williams, but dangerous play by Scotland and warning signs for Wales.
And Jamie, with your centre hat on, when you got a guy like Tuipulotu, early stage of his international career, I know, but when he can carry and then have that kind of subtlety of hand, because Russell was looping round, we all thought, oh, Finn Russell's going to get it. No, there goes Jones, made by Tuipulotu, as Russell bangs over the points, 3-0 Scotland.
Well, how many times as a midfield combo, a 10, 12, 13 combo, do you practice that set during the week, both in attack and defence? Look at this. It's Joe Hawkins this time, the young man, you know, he's still quite inexperienced. He's overread that, left Hugh Jones on his inside shoulder, gives himself too much to do, can't recover. But from an attacking perspective, that was great play by Scotland.
Taken by Richie Gray at the restart. Johnny, you'd know Richie Gray well. He's had having an international career renaissance, the guy, isn't he?
The Grenaissance, as it's known in these parts. Look, he's one of the best athletes I ever played with. He's 2 metres tall, he can squat 200 kgs. He would set amateur British rowing record times in his spare time in cast. That's the sort of internal drive he has. So to see him back at the top level after being a British Lion with Jamie in 2013 is superb.
Well, Ben White almost caught at the base there. Scotland looking to get their exit right from this ruck. They're inside their own 22, pinned a bit, but composure from Gray to find Schoeman, set it up 15 metres inside their own 22. This is where both sides need to get their accuracy right. Wales not to give away penalties, Scotland to clear their lines or send up a contestable. It's the former from White, and Williams takes it, does well not to step on the line. Here goes Liam Williams with a counter-attack. Takes it up to the 10-metre line. Out now to Dylan Lewis, who's edging towards 50 caps, winning his 47th today, the Cardiff man. Another Cardiff man digs for the ball in Thomas Williams. George North is getting involved, carrying up to the 10-metre line. Williams comes to the left. Biggers at first receiver, the fly half. Now Hawkins with a step, goes over the 10-metre line. Methodical build-up from Wales. Do they have the cutting edge? Biggers out the back. Wyn Jones is the carrier, straight into Scottish traffic. Wales probably just looking for a penalty to then drive into Scottish territory. Carried again by the forwards from Biggers prompting. George North on this near side, but it's a lot of rucks, 6 phases. Still Wales haven't really crossed the gain line, Johnny Beattie.
Absolutely no net gain. The Scottish defensive line's been ripped as well by Scotland. Turnover ball.
Turned over by Schoeman. Ben White's almost getting away, and he almost got it to Van der Merwe. We might need to see a replay of that, but I think George North, Jamie, did brilliantly to stop that. Van der Merwe's gone quickly, and he finds Russell. Oh no, it was called the mark, not from the mark, and from a neutral's point of view you wanted that to be played on, but Van der Merwe almost away down the touchline.
Almost. Good break by Ben White. George North, great recovery here, manages just to get his hand in the passing lane and tap the ball into touch, but it's this rip by Schoeman. Wales probably 6-7 phases, not really going forward. Chris, you mentioned it, you know, they're playing nice pretty patterns but not really advancing forward at the field. Now Scotland are on Wales's 40, off the top line out.
Nice line out ball Scotland. Russell, Ritchie finds two of Pelotu, so they get the big Glasgow carrier via a few pairs of hands. Wales have turned over really quickly. Can they get it through the hands themselves? Owens to Reffel, and now Wales set it up just short of the halfway line. So both sides nicking ruck ball as Morgan slightly loose. Back it comes to Wales, and Hawkins, who's played a lot of 10, he clears his lines. Here's Stuart Hogg, orange boots, looks for the spiral, doesn't really catch it.
Hold on.
And now here's Thomas Williams in the backfield. He will look for distance as nightfall descends on Edinburgh. Russell, the languid figure of the Racing 92 fly half, on his way to Bath next season to no doubt light up the Premiership. Bigger finds Liam Williams, and he sends it up. He'll chase this himself. He likes these, Liam Williams. Almost regains it, but knocks on. Hogg couldn't quite get it away to Jones. Is tackled well by Williams. 10-metre line.
Wait.
7 or 8 metres in from touch. Now the carrier's Matt Fagerson, who's ever improving. One of the best 8s around now, Matt Fagerson. Russell on the bounce pass. Looks for a 50-22. A wiper kick from Russell. Can't quite get the bounce. Dyer mops up well, inside to Bigger, that's loose though, and Bigger's lost it, and Bigger's going to have the kick to touch, and at best he'll get it up to the 22, and it's going to be lovely set piece ball for Scotland.
Rio Dyer there with a loose pass. You know, he thought he should have kicked down the tram lines. He's panicked a bit, chucked it back into Dan Bigg. He wasn't quite expecting it, was he? Thought Rio was going to kick. Loose pass, put Wales under pressure.
And certainly in the opening stages, we talked about overplaying before the game. Wales overplaying in the middle of the field, but getting turned over. Simple mistakes in the backfield. Again, you expect clean exits from this Wales side, alleviating any pressure they're under. But a big error again there by Dyer in the backfield.
And Stuart Hogg's gone off for an HI as well. I think it's Blair Kinghorn has come on at 15.
Handy replacement, Kinghorn.
And much better at fullback. Again, I think we can agree. The Kinghorn experiment at 10 wasn't quite right. He can fit in there if required, but an exceptional back three player in his own right.
Scotland.
Well, referee Andrew Brace just
we're not going to walk in.
telling Scotland not to walk in, which is an edict from the top of the game at World Rugby. They want line-outs and scrums to be formed quicker to speed the game up. Nice set-piece ball. Jamie Ritchie, the skipper. Peel from Turner, slightly loose, but some take from Ben White like he was in the gully. Stopped 4 and kept the ball for Scotland. Xander Fagerson trundles round the corner. Dangerous attacking position here for Scotland. If they can win quick ball, they've got a penalty as Wales go off their feet or don't release. One of the two. Wales infringe at the breakdown, and Scotland can double their lead to 6.
There's one place Wales got found wanting last week. Didn't have too much presence over the ball to stop that Irish juggernaut in the opening 20. That is the risk you run. Tommy Reffel there obviously wants to be hard over the ball, but has to show a clear release now. The refs are really hot on this at the breakdown at the minute. You've got to show a clear release.
It's a strange one to concede as well, under no real pressure. Xander Fagerson, a simple one-out carry from the base under the posts. Just doesn't quite get his hands right. The jackal hits the deck first as opposed to going directly on the ball. An easy opportunity for Scotland to double their lead to 6.
Yeah, Raphael, one of the best in the business on the floor. As I swallow a Haribo. Thought you guys were going to talk a bit longer. I took a gamble, didn't pay off. Anyway, it's down now. Russell for 6-0, bang in front. He won't miss this. He doesn't. And Scotland have made much a better start. They could have had more than 6 points. They've made the line breaks. They've looked the more inventive, the more enterprising. But for Wales, Jamie, I imagine it'll be all about staying in touch.
Yeah, no doubt. It's only 6 points. You know, one try, they're back in this game, or another penalty, they're back in it.
Fagerson peels away. Good pace on the ball from Matt Fagerson. Therefore, Ben White. Pierce Schoeman, the loose head.
Tackle!
Cult hero around Murrayfield, the Edinburgh man. Cleared by Scotland, and White with his left boot. Might be a counter-attacking opportunity for Wales on halfway. Williams out to Bigger. Now here, Dyer. And Dyer has gone siding through himself. That's good from Wales. That's their best attack of the game. But they've got no scrum half. Someone had to go and play there. Now Williams is on his feet and he flips it out to Bigger. Carried on by the Welsh forwards almost up to the 22. Tackle is called on Daffyd Jenkins. Therefore Williams juggled by Beard, who then found Wyn Jones. Williams goes to the left, but he was caught. Nicely done by Scotland on the fringes, and Scotland have turned Wales over again. That's loose. Kinghorn waiting to throw a Hail Mary. Big tackle coming in on the replacement fullback. They're still in Scottish possession just outside their own 22. White looking for the ball, digs for it, and finds his forwards through Xander Fagerson, who trucks around the corner. 16 minutes gone on BBC Radio 5 Sports Extra.
Now 9.
Earlier, remember, Ireland with a big statement in Dublin, 32-19 in a game for the ages against France. That first half especially will go down in history as a classic. Here goes George North, the Centurion, into Scottish territory from the Scottish clearance kick. Decent ball for Wales. Sorry, it's North now on the ball. I didn't see he was carrying before. And looks like Wales are struggling to recycle this here on the near side, but they do have it through their forwards on the 10-metre line. And now Thomas Williams out to Wyn Jones. And what do Wales do in this situation, Jamie Roberts? Wyn Jones kind of a one-out carry. They're trying to move it, but it's all around about the halfway line as Hawkins throws a good ball out to Liam Williams, who puts a kick through, and that's got Scotland and Russell scampering back. Williams almost gets him. 5-metre line now for Scotland. Wales looking to steal. They have stolen, and Jamie punches the air, and that was good methodical rugby from Wales. Went through the phases, and the good kick turning Scotland around.
Yeah, you thought Wales weren't going anywhere there for a few phases. A lovely over-the-top ball. Missed 2 from Joe Hawkins. Put Liam Williams, little kick space behind, apply pressure. There's Finn Russell back there. Gets turned over the braids, and Wales have a great opportunity to score and get back in this game.
Wales, no huddles.
And Wales are going to go for the corner. Not interested in the shot at goal to take it to 6-3. 18 minutes gone. Good atmosphere at Murrayfield.
6.
Scotland lead by 6, but Wales with their best attacking platform of the game. Thrown into the line out. Shins have got up, but I think Scotland have stolen. Wales, what an opportunity on the 5-metre line. Couldn't get their drill right. And Russell will clear. Hasn't quite got it as far as he maybe would like, but it's still not the 5-metre line. It's about 20 metres out now.
How many times did we speak about this last week, dissecting that Wales performance? When they get entries into 22, they are not very good at the moment at converting that pressure into points. And another example there, they need to sort their line out if they're going to have any chance of competing in this game.
And they were 75% last week, but it's Richie Gray competing by himself without a lift. That is the benefit of having a man that's 2 metres tall, one of the best athletes in European rugby.
Oh, interesting little kick through from Adams. It looks like Van der Merwe is going to get caught over his own 5. He is. Right, so I'll talk you through what's happened there. Rio Dyer went to play at first receiver, the left wing, then gave it to Bigger, who did a funny kind of kick pass, but then Adams showed good skill to dribble it down the line. Van der Merwe in trouble. 5-metre scrum to the Welsh, Jamie Roberts.
Really smart kick. Josh Adams puts it in behind. Van der Merwe is on the deck. You think he might have rescued himself out of this, but Josh Adams sticks to it. Scrags him down. Scrum Wales 5 metres out.
And a big scrum it is. The Scottish scrummers creaked. They've given away a couple of free kicks, and actually after impact they've looked like they've been nudged backwards. So now Wales, they've just lost a chance with a line out that's gone a begging, but now a big chance to launch on the Scottish 5-metre line again.
Come on.
With a threatening scrum.
Well, it's early stages, there's only 20 minutes gone, but it always felt like it was going to be tight, even though both teams were coming at this game from different form.
George North lining up at 12 here. He's wearing 13 on his back. Odds on this ball going to George North over the advantage line. Straight at Finn Russell.
They got Josh. That's a move out of your own heart, isn't it, Jamie? You want to be out there carrying that ball as Thomas Williams prepares to feed. 5-metre scrum for Wales. Good channel 1 ball for the Welsh. Thomas Williams dummies himself. Josh Adams came off the wing. And I think it's going to be... What is happening here?
Red offside off the
scrum.
Now this has been one of my bugbears for a long time in the game, that 5 metres is broken early from both defence and attacking teams, and it's never reffed. It's never reffed. It hasn't been reffed at all in the last few years, and we see it here in the Six Nations. World Rugby will be stronger. They're going to ref these little intricacies in the game a little bit stronger. We see here George North creeping. You cannot break that 5 metre line until the scrum half has played the ball, and you know that is against the law and it's rightly penalised, but we haven't seen it penalised the last few years.
And just a little bit of over-eagerness from George North there, Jamie. Again, the position running and wants to take that short ball, but the upshot is they've gone from attacking on the 5 metre line to defending on Scottish 40.
Yeah, great options there. Josh Adams lurking North on the crash, but Wales have missed a golden chance. Once from the line out, twice from the scrum, and Scotland break away from the penalty. George Turner carries over halfway. They might have numbers here, Scotland. Russell throws a delayed ball to Tuipulotu. Tommy Reffell's on that ball, penalty. Great Gatlin work from the number 7.
Crucial intervention again. The Scottish pack working their magic. 10 metres gained from the line out. Maul churns up the midfield. Again, Tuipulotu on the front foot, but the quality of the work at the collision area, the point of access straight in the side, perfectly executed by Tommy Reffell, and gets his side out of jail. Really big intervention by the youngster.
That's the advantage of having a genuine jackal threat, Jamie.
That's why he's in the team. That's what Wales lacked last weekend. You know, for everything that Justin Tipuric gives you, all his super strength, his link play, his pace, his hands, Tommy Reffell over the ball is probably our best option at 7. You know, Wales certainly, and we've seen it a couple of times already. Yes, he was unlucky with the penalty earlier, but he got that one, and that was a critical turnover.
Ken Owens is throwing right down the barrel where we are, and he finds Chris Shinzer, who wins a good line-out ball. Jamie Ritchie is getting through to spoil, but Thomas Williams has it, peels away, finds George North in between the 22 and the 10, 15 minutes in from touch, Scottish territory. Slightly slow ball though for Wales, and Dylan Lewis drops it, and that is an underwhelming bit of play from the Welsh, but good energy for Scotland, who have snuffed out that attack.
Great line speed again. It's Finn Russell leading that line, pressurising the first collision. And Dylan Lewis, again, there's been lots of semi-static ball, taking the ball on the gain line, just lifts his head at the wrong moment. Skill set lets him down. Normally a man, very good ball in hand, but again it's an unforced error. We've seen line out go awry, we've seen giving away, overstepping, giving away penalties on the 5 metre line. Really unlike Wales, more of what we saw last week, and just not being able to apply Scotland as yet in this game.
Just a bit apprehensive on that carry. I think that's been an obvious difference between these two sides in the opening quarter, is that advancing with the ball as pods of forwards. You see a scrum penalty to Wales, but just when playing off 9 and coming on to the ball, Wales feel a bit static to me, whereas Scotland are really advancing and threatening the line.
Scotland have got a big blue wall defensively, but what I found interesting is that Wales have continued to try and batter that wall and try and earn their go forward and win some collisions. But traditionally what I'd expect from Dan Biggar is hold on, slow the ball down, get ball from 9 and just stick it in there. We haven't seen the contest that we're used to seeing, that pragmatic style. They're playing risky rugby, dare I say, and at the minute they're coming up a little bit short.
Well, as Jamie Roberts was saying, they've got the penalty from the scrum, an area Wales are shading, and that will be encouraging for the many thousands of Welsh men and women who have made the trip, the pilgrimage from Wales up to Edinburgh. What a great trip. What a great city, as Biggar looks for 3. He's missed it to the left. And now we're looking at a bit of a catalogue, Jamie, of missed opportunities for Wales. If you are playing away from home, 5 metre line out, 5 metre scrum, missed kick, yes, a long way out, but bang in front.
That's a poor miss of Dan. It's in front of the sticks. Rarely misses those, but he's an experienced player. I'm sure he'll get over it quickly. Probably already forgotten about it.
Finn Russell, does he go out on the full? He does, right. This will be a scrum on 22 for Wales, will it, or will they have the line out on 22?
Okay, option, yeah.
They have the option.
Is Finn Russell having one of those games? It's early days yet, we're 23 minutes in.
Okay.
Well, they're going to line out, Johnny.
Take the line, Scotland.
Line out 22 to Wales. And yeah, we know Russell, for all his brilliance, he can drift in and out of games, he can make mistakes, as Shinzer wins to the front of the line out for Wales, who have had a lot of play in the last 10 minutes. Thomas Williams peels away and finds Dyer carrying. Jack Morgan into the heart of the Scottish defence. Inside the 22 they go. Thomas Williams out to Jenkins. No, Hawkins took it off the rookie Daffyd Jenkins. In the 22, good opportunity this for Wales. 25 minutes gone, they trail by 6. 2 Russell penalties. Scotland 6, Wales 0. Thomas Williams out to Dan Biggar, who's got an option in Liam Williams. Decent incision from Williams. Can he get this to ground? Yes, he can. Good strength, Liam Williams. Only about 15 minutes out now, the Welsh, as Jenkins drives on once more. The number 4 from Exeter, just 20 years of age. Thomas Williams out to Biggar, goes inside to Wyn Jones, who's a willing carrier, if not a destructive one. Right slap bang in centre field again. To reiterate, Wales have good territory here. The captain, Ken Owens, he'll carry all day for his side. Gilchrist all over him, but there was a second man going in Ritchie. Interesting what Andrew Brace does there, whether that was a dead ruck, but he's given a penalty to Scotland.
And do you know what? That's really smart from Jamie Ritchie. The latching player for Wales has actually taken the Scottish defender off the ball, so when the tackle is actually made to the deck, that latching player for Wales isn't part of the ruck. Jamie Ritchie rightly jackals the ball. Wales are screaming, you know, you can't do that. He actually can.
And again, disrupts some positive play by Wales. Much better, stringing together phases, eating their way into the 22. And you can even say just lifting his eyes, having a look with the referee, communicating, am I okay to hang on to ball? But a big turnover again for Scottish rugby on the 10-metre line.
Huge turnover. They got the line out on halfway. One of those that can go either way. Another ref easily, Jamie, could have said that's a ruck formed your handling, but the nous of the Scottish captain.
Yeah, serious nous, and it is one a crucial turnover. But I think the big worry for Wales is they weren't really going forward, carrying the ball through phases, just not winning the advantage line.
Russell wings it out to Jones. Good ball to Van der Merwe, who gallops over halfway. He must be so full of confidence. The big wing tackled by Josh Adams. Both of them on tour with the Lions in 2021 in South Africa. Gilchrist's ball is a wild one. Can Wales get on it? Yes, they can. So Scotland coughing up a decent opportunity. Thomas Williams wings it out to George North. George North is caught just short of the halfway line. 12 and a half minutes to go. It's been a cagey first half, but no less compelling as Wales drive on again. Back to Biggar, and there's the aerial game that Johnny Beattie was predicting. Asking Hawkins and Adams to go after it. Through came Kinghorn. I don't think Hogg is coming back on. Penalty though to Scotland. Was that outside the 10 or Wales offside?
Give you the mark, just
and
wait.
I do wonder whether this is going to be in range for Russell to take the lead out to 9. I think he should be tempted to have a pop if it's on his range.
Never held.
Because 9-0 becomes a handy lead, but no, he's going for the corner.
It's a poor penalty to give away. We mentioned just stopping the game, going to there, making it a contest. The back line just sneaking offside in front of Dan Biggar. And the upshot, Scotland now kick to the corner, 10 metres out with the line out that's functioning. A big opportunity to strike.
Right, Johnny, poor penalty to give away. Wales again not really going anywhere around halfway. They go to air. It's a massive tactic that can be real benefit to your team, but they got it wrong that time. Wales, I hope they don't pay the price.
Well, will Wales pay the price for those missed opportunities? Gilchrist, front of the line out, Scotland. Only 15 metres out at most, the Scots. And that's a beautifully formed maul. George Turner has it at the back. That one's being clapped. Penalty coming to Scotland. White now out to Pelotu. What's he going to do with an advantage ball? Russell, what a pass to Kinghorn. Kinghorn over to the far side. Scotland should walk it in through Steen. Oh, what a tackle coming in. Was it Dyer? And another Welsh cover. I don't know how Carl Staines not scored, because the ball from Russell to Kinghorn was a beauty. Kinghorn gave it to Steen, who I thought was going to gallop in. Wales saved the day, will come back for the penalty.
It's Kinghorn's pass, isn't it? It just checks Steen. Well, what a recovery from Rio Dyer. He gets caught on the pass from Russell. It's this pass just behind Steen, just checks his run. I think if he doesn't have to check there on his run in, he scores that. What a recovery.
What a ball by Finn Russell again. Fizzes it across the face of the Welsh defence that's guilty of overstepping and overreading. The 2-on-1 is created. The catch pass and the release just not quite the quality required to finish the move, and for Steen to get over in the corner. But a wonderful piece of enterprise, creativity from Scotland. They'll come back for a penalty from a maul infringement. But the cover D from Wales. We're coming back to look again at the cover tackle. Was it dangerous play?
Well, a lot of boos because they're showing on the replay. I mean, Rio Dyer's tackle coming across was textbook, but it's the intervention of Josh Adams, whether he's tucked his right arm. and the referee's not interested. Russell kicks into the corner, so the crowd can boo, but it doesn't matter. But what a chance for Scotland, 5 metres out with the line out. Too early to say they can kill the game off, but they can take an almighty step towards winning. If they can convert this, they throw into the line out, they win it nicely, they set them all up. Richie Gray imperious in the air. Scotland lead by 6. A try could take it out to as many as 13. Wyn Jones is doing a good spoiling job. He's got to get out. George Turner peels away. George Turner scores for Scotland. Turner with the try. Scotland lead by 11. They might check this. Both Johnny Beattie and Jamie Roberts are giving the held up sign. I just thought Turner was in such space. He must have got it down. This one will be checked. Big moment in the game.
They're dominating the maul, Scotland, aren't they? They look like they're advancing every time they get that maul set. Be surprised if Wales' ill discipline won't lead to a potential penalty or yellow card with this one. They're going to take a slower look at it. It's often not easier to spot a transgression in a maul if they do.
Strange in that scenario as well, because Wales aren't competing. So if you're Richie Gray going up in there, you're expecting shoulders into the small of your back, 3-4 seconds of absolute carnage and being repelled backwards, but Scotland being allowed to get down set and move themselves forward. George Turner's burst off the back of that one, and Thomas Williams has done some job holding him up.
I think you guys are right. I think it has been held up. Is that bigger as well as Thomas Williams? Oh, there it's down. Right, it's down now. It's down now. If the officials are happy it's immediate enough, that's going to be a try for Scotland and Turner. Yeah, it is a try for Scotland and Turner. It looked good at the time. Turner's try. Murrayfield celebrates. Huge moment in the test match. Scotland 11, Wales 0, and for all that ball and all that territory, Wales have come up with nothing, and Scotland have struck at the other end.
And Scotland deserve a try, I think, for all the pressure they've applied in this opening 25 minutes, for all the quality they've shown. They were unfortunate to not get a try the other end, that beautiful Finn Russell pass, but back to the nuts and bolts. They've dominated in the maul this opening half.
They have, and I think they'll keep, once you sense that weakness and it's something you know you can go to, now I think they'll hammer it throughout the rest of the game. If it's somewhere you're getting change, you want to keep pressing on that nerve. Interesting as well for Scotland to have refused the shot at 3 points, to have taken the choice to go to the corner and convert the 5. Finn Russell with a chance to add it and make it 7, and Scotland could be up by 13 points.
Well, George Turner's making that Scotland number 2 shirt his own. Plenty of competition around, but he's the man in possession. He scored the try. Russell glides the conversion through. Scotland 13, Wales 0. 31 minutes to go, and Turner, Johnny Beattie, actually turned to the crowd and said, "Come on, Delia Smith style, let's be having you." Well, if Scotland don't go and win this and go 2 from 2 from 13-0 up on 31, then there will be some soul searching, but they're in control of this one, aren't they? Unless Wales, you feel, can strike back almost immediately, and they have turned it over. Just as I was about to get a word from you, Johnny, Wales have turned it over from the kickoff. If Wales can strike, it's very much game on still. But 13-0's a good lead as Stafford Jenkins throws a dummy. Into the 22 go the Welsh. Thomas Williams finds Adam Beard, not a huge number of men outside him. George North at first, but Ken Owens on a dummy line. Johnny Beattie felt that was obstruction. Lucky not to be a penalty against Wales. This time, Wales and North juggle forward. Josh Adams off his wing 2. Ken Owens outside the 22, and Scotland, Johnny, have done pretty well to repel this. Wales are being forced back almost the 10-metre line now.
Okay, just wait, everybody away.
Oh, I think there's an injury on the floor. Might be Grant Gilchrist or George Turner. I see a scrum cap, so as we wait for this,
fellas, walk,
they'll
please.
take their time because it's a head or neck injury, but very good Scottish defence to drive Wales all the way back there.
Okay.
Well, the Scottish defensive line has been excellent. Again, there's been a real lack of cohesion from the Welsh attacking front play. Again, one-out runners, not really dominating collisions, and when one they get into multi-phase, they sort of look a little bit lost, a little bit confused, not quite cohesive at all. It looks like we might see a card. A big collision coming through. Turner on North, the replay on the big screen. Oof. Looks like shoulder to head by George Turner. He's excused himself straight after the collision and looked at the referee. It's a swinging arm to the chin.
Clear head contact, clear high tackle.
Well, this could be a red card.
Head contact, clear high tackle. Okay, we'll just look to see level of danger now and mitigation, okay?
Right, mitigation might be the dipping in height.
My initial view, I'm on yellow, he's falling down.
Yeah, that's Andrew Brace's instinct. George Turner, who I was just talking up, is potentially going to spend some time off the pitch. It might be 10 minutes, but if it's deemed to be high danger and always foul play, the mitigation might not count.
Going down into the tackle.
Let's listen to Andrew Brace.
Against 2.
George North has dipped there. I think he's clearly dipped. I think George is
make a legal tackle, but he's still caught him high.
Yeah.
Right?
If you hear the referee, it's a genuine attempt. Okay, he probably hasn't dipped quite enough, but he's hitting him in the shoulder there right until the last minute, and George dips. I think that's a fair shout, yellow card for that.
We have seen him given as reds though. He's come from distance, a swinging arm, and a big connection with the head. The directives given by World Rugby absolutely to protect our players. I think George Turner can consider himself quite lucky to still be on the field, and also we've seen the Reds, the effect that that's had on the games this year. A big yellow, potentially a momentum swing now. The Scottish pack has to defend with 7 men, a maul attack potentially in the Scottish 22. And as we were just saying, momentum has been fully in Scottish favour. Now a real chance for Wales to get some points on the board and get themselves back in this game.
Well, obviously the officials were happy it was an attempt at a legal tackle. If it was deemed always illegal, mitigation doesn't apply and he could have seen red, but it's yellow for Turner. 13-0 Scotland, 7 minutes to the break, but Wales again find themselves in Scotland's 22 as Tommy Raffel peels away. They've got an advantage, the Welsh. Pressure starting to mount on the Scottish defence. Thomas Williams 10 metres out, he goes back to Bigger, who will go crossfield for Josh Adams. Adams against Kinghorn, neither claim it. Back for the penalty. Surely Wales will stick this in the corner, Jamie.
Yeah, I think when the opposition are down to 14, either stick it in the corner or they go to scrum here, middle of the park. Scrum, force a back from Scotland to enter the scrum. Leaves you with a Spitfield attacking against a 3-3. Looks like Dan's gone to the corner.
Number 3 falling wrong side.
Interesting choice as well. I think if Scotland leave a man off, they're down to 7, you go for a double shove and you attack the Scottish pack. The Welsh line-out hasn't fired. Big opportunity now, 5 metre line for Wales. Can they gather this ball, collect it and test the Scottish defensive maul?
Well, Wales have no direct centre cover, so Josh Adams is going into 13. Alex Cuthbert on the wing as Wales claim the line-out ball. Can the Welsh maul? 6 minutes left. Scotland lead by 13 in this first half. This is the best Welsh maul we've seen all game, and they're edging towards the Scottish line. They're up to the Scottish line. They're over the Scottish line, and Wales are on the board at Murrayfield.
Very well executed again. Simple play. Gather that ball. And once you see those spines in line and momentum going with the Welsh players, red moving forward, absolutely deserving of getting back into this game. Simple play, but the Welsh pack will be delighted with that. Scotland down to 14 men, paying for that yellow card, but Wales absolutely back in this game.
If it's set right, it's almost impossible to defend, isn't it? You know, the 5 metre maul, once you get nice and tight, real good formation, I mean, that's really, really hard to start. Wales do it brilliantly. As you said, Johnny, Dan Bigger will hope to convert this from the 5 metres out from the touchline. Wales definitely back in this game.
Yeah, aren't they just? With Turner in the sin bin as well for another 7 minutes. Can Wales add to their 5, not just through this bigger kick, but in the remaining 5 minutes of this first half? Ken Owens, the try scorer, his 6th try for his country on his 88th appearance, the Wales captain. Bigger, oh, nice kick down Bigger, straight through. Scotland 13, Wales 7. And even though I think Scotland are looking the more connected, cohesive, slicker side, this Welsh team aren't going to go away as they never do they?
No, they're not going to roll over, absolutely not. But that's what makes it such an exciting spectacle. Again, the swing of a yellow card, momentum going back to the Welsh. Now, as you mentioned, 6.5, 7 minutes to endure down to 14. It's exhausting stuff. How will Wales adapt? Are they going to keep the ball in hand? Will they go to air? They're going to see a change of strategy. All the more difficult for Scotland down to 14.
Russell's restart taken in by Wales and Hawkins, who looks to the man born at this level at just 20 on his 3rd cap. The Ospreys inside centre. And now for Wales, it's just about getting their exit right, and for Scotland, who may get a nice start to play on halfway as Williams kicks the touch. They do. For Scotland, they've got perhaps their last chance of this first half to add to their 13 points.
I think Wales will be quite disappointed they didn't keep that on the park, probably to apply pressure to Scotland. And Scotland can now waste another 30 seconds, another minute. It's all vital time when you've got a man in the bin.
But Jamie Ritchie's going to be asked to step forward. He's not exactly a first choice thrower. If you're Wales, you try and defend at the front, compete. Scotland done very well to adapt and win the ball though.
Very well. Crosby, the Edinburgh 7, carries from Russell's pass. Over halfway they go, past the sponsors logo. Well played Wales though, holding them up, soaking up the tackle, forcing them all, and Wales will get the scrum inside their own half.
Poor body height from Crosby there, wasn't it? Just can't afford to do that at test level now. It wasn't really dynamic into that carry, carried upright. Scotland pay the price, turnover, advantage Wales.
You can sometimes get away with it at club level, URC. But when you're running an upright into Dan Biggar, a great defender in his own right, big physical man, as is Johnny Sexton, you look around the other 10s in the comp, there's no easy go forward. This cavalry doesn't arrive. Big turnover for Wales. Scotland will be forced to make a change as well. Fraser Brown's going to come on. He's very much taking his time to wander towards this scrum, wind down that clock as much as he can.
Blue 7. Blue 7.
Interestingly, Scotland's here only going to leave 7 in the scrum. You'd think they'd maybe add a midfielder into this. The last thing they want to do here is concede a penalty. You wouldn't mind the line bends where you concede 10 metres, 20 metres.
Head on head, just get your heads in the slot.
But this is where, as a Welsh pack, if they're smart, a double shove will be called. Keep that ball in, squeeze this Scottish pack, apply pressure. They're 110 kilos less than they were in the last scrum. It should be a formality.
Stable.
Wales scrum just inside their own half. 13-7 Scotland lead. Thomas Williams comes to the left, finds Biggar. Josh Adams playing in the centre. Dyer, big tackle on the far side from Steen. He offloads though to Williams, and now Jack Morgan wearing number 8. Inside the Scottish half are the Welsh, but Scotland won't necessarily mind this as Daffyd Jenkins ploughs on. Halfway line, back to Biggar, who will go aerial, looking for Cuthbert to chase. Cuthbert gets up and bats it back nicely. Good pick up, Ken Owens. That's better from Wales. They won the aerial battle there. Dylan Lewis out the back. Biggar, oh, good ball, Biggar. But Williams is caught. Nice offload to Daffyd Jenkins. He's been everywhere actually, Jenkins, on his first Six Nations appearance. Grabbed through by Wales, picked up nicely by Russell, who returns it with interest. Wales just really can't get their attacking game going, and back from Williams to Biggar, who puts his boot through it, and after all that it will be a line out on halfway Scottish ball.
Scotland managed that scrum defence really nicely, didn't they? Almost put Rio Dyer into touch. Wales obviously didn't want to overplay around halfway, risked the turnover. Biggar to the air, they won the ball back.
Scotland, no huddles.
Really good defensive read there. I think it was Hugh Jones on the open side, spotted out the defensive line, wrapped up Liam Williams. When you're down to 14, that is high risk, high reward stuff. Hugh Jones got it right that time. Scotland line out, they don't manage to gain it at the front. Back to Dyer now, Raphael, Morgan, Biggar, who'll just belt it skywards. Perhaps an admittance that Welsh ball, again ball in hand, isn't really firing. What can Scotland do though? Carl Steen sets it up just over the 10-metre line in Scottish territory. Therefore Finn Russell, who looks to make a break on his own and gets an improbable offload away. Matt Fagerson does some excellent tidying up work. Morgan's over that ball, but he's off his feet, Morgan. He gets the penalty though, and the Scottish fans all around us don't like it. Johnny Beattie's making the off the feet hand movement as well. Wales perhaps got away with one then, but they'll be able to win the half in Scottish territory.
I think that's a 50-50. It's gone in Wales' favour. But again, they look like hands were on deck. They were a little bit not supporting their body weight from here in the gantry. But a big penalty for Wales. Nearly a break down the blind side. Finn Russell again taking the ball to the gain line. Flicks an audacious offload out the back door. Matt Fagerson tidies up. But the ruck that's formed, the work on the deck again by Wales, offers them another penalty in deep Scottish territory.
A risky one. when you try those offloads, your support runners go beyond the ball, right? So if you do end up getting tackled, there's no one there to clean the ruck for half a second. If you're half a second too late against this quality, you're going to get turned over.
Great atmosphere as we edge towards half-time. Owen Distro finds Shinza. 22 for Wales. They're ending the half strongly, the visitors. They trail 13-7. They get a maul going, and Rafael comes piling round the fringe. Here's Joe Hawkins with a run-up. That's good rugby from the Welsh. Can Scotland hold firm? Can Wales strike before the interval? Bigger takes it over his head. Lovely little ball to Alex Cuthbert, who's almost up to the line. Big clear coming in by Wales. They might have numbers here. Oh, the offload couldn't be claimed by Dyer. I don't think he was expecting it, but Dyer would have had a walk in, and that's half-time. What a note to end on. As we see a replay again, Jamie Roberts. Cuthbert's bust. To the left they come. Bigger's ball. Oh, Dyer had to read it. He just had to read what Bigger was up to, and he dropped it. That could have been Wales going in with a half-time lead. As it is, Scotland 13, Wales 7 on the break.
It's a lovely ball from Dan Bigger. They just weren't quite on the same page. Unfortunately, Rio Dyer couldn't gather it. I think we saw there a real blueprint, didn't we? Saw a more ref will break out. Hawkins with a line. Okay, only makes you a metre or two, but at this level, that is gold. Couldn't quite finish that, but that's a promising finish from Wales in this first half.
Promising finish, and Wales tearing back into this game. Again, positive play. A difficult opening 20 for them, but full of positivity. They'll bounce back down the tunnel. 13-7 down, but mentally, psychologically in much better shape. Still a yellow card to take into the first few minutes of the second half, and I think, Jamie, they'll be delighted.
Yeah, I think Wales pretty pleased, certainly after that first 25 minutes. 13-0. They were looking down a tough first half, but yellow card changed everything. Momentum in this sport is everything, and Wales got back on the scoreboard with that maul try through Ken Owens. Unfortunate not to get another one there at the end of that first half, but this second half is going to be some game.
It's teed up so nicely, and I think Scotland going down that tunnel as well will count themselves a little bit lucky not to have conceded the death there. Sleight of hand, absolutely fabulous to watch by Dan Bigger. High risk stuff, as we just mentioned. It doesn't quite stick, but that could quite easily have been Wales going in with a lead. Huge moment, a let-off for Scotland.
Well, Scotland found themselves 13-0 up thanks to Russell's boot, George Turner's try from the maul, but Wales bounced back with Ken Owens replying to his opposite numbers try by scoring himself, beautifully converted by Bigger. So it is on a knife edge. We'll talk through the key stats at half-time. Wales shading possession, 59%, 70% territory. Role reversal a bit from last week for Wales, but for Scotland it's the same story. Winning the game without much possession, without much territory. More on this game to come as we look forward to a captivating second half. But let's just have a pause and look forward to tomorrow, because our commentary comes from Twickenham. 3 o'clock, England against Italy, as England look to bounce back from that defeat by Scotland when they take on the Azzurri. Our build-up is on Sports Extra from 2:30, so make sure you catch us from 2:30 on Sports Extra. Had a commentary of England against Italy. Loads of changes from Steve Borthwick. He's freshened up his midfield with Henry Slade starting and Borthwick leaving Marcus Smith on the bench with Owen Farrell back at fly half. And Slade, a key man in that midfield alongside Ollie Lawrence, has been speaking to Sarah Orchard.
Henry Slade, huge congratulations. Fit, back in the team. Straight back in, no issues, absolutely delighted. Talk us through your emotions.
I'm obviously very, very excited, very happy. It was a frustrating couple of weeks after the cast game, sort of pulling my groin. So not being able to be part of the start of the rebuild really, which was frustrating, but I was in camp the whole time, so I've been in all the meetings, been watching them train, and so I haven't really missed too much, which helped coming up to speed this week. So yeah, obviously really happy to be back in the side. The first start for a while, so I'm excited to get out there Sunday.
How was that roller coaster of emotions you've been on? Because obviously there was the red card as well, and obviously that was rescinded, but I appreciate you must have been through quite a lot to actually get to the point where you could come into England camp. Yeah,
so as soon as it happened, I was
counting on your fingers.
Yeah, I was
weeks,
like, how many?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, obviously gutted, but obviously then everyone was sort of telling me, oh, it's not a red card, it'll be alright, but you never know until it's actually rescinded. So that happened in the game on the Saturday night. The sort of hearing wasn't until Tuesday afternoon, so it was a nervous few days waiting there. But once the news was out, then obviously weight off the shoulders. But obviously it was a bit of a worry for a few days. But then we're obviously moving into the Cas game and feeling like it went well. But then picking up the niggle was also frustrating. But now to be back in training this week's been awesome. I've loved being back out there with the boys.
And what someone else has done the maths. I can't take the credit for this at all, but you have now had 11 centre partnerships with England. I was told apparently.
I might be doing something wrong, maybe.
Well, I don't know. I have no comment with that. But 11, that's a lot of different men to play with.
Yeah.
Tell me how it's been going with Ollie this week.
Yeah, really good. We've played with each other before, I think, once or twice. But it's been really good. Obviously, we've got very different strengths, very different attributes. He's a big, powerful guy who always get you over the gain line. He's much better at that than I am. So we'll leave that stuff to him, and I'll be sort of more of the helping out Faz or Marcus when he's on to get that ball into the outside channels, because we've got some unbelievably dangerous runners out there. So sort of helping that side of things. But I think the way we complement each other quite nicely in the midfield is good, I think.
What did you make of Italy in round one, and who in that back line will you be keeping a special eye on come Sunday?
Obviously very impressed, first and foremost. Played very well, played a lot of good attacking rugby. Obviously Tommaso Allen, now he's called, played a little bit growing up with him, so know him a little bit. Played against him a lot of times. Obviously very, very talented player. It's been really good. Capozzo, the fullback, if I pronounced his name right. Is that
very
right?
good, very good.
Obviously incredible talent, young guy, got a great footwork, quick. So obviously he's a guy we'll definitely have to look out for. Obviously in the midfield, you got Brex in the outside channels, who's a big, strong guy. We know they've got a lot of threats right across the back line. We're just excited and sort of focusing on what we want to do and what we want to bring to the game, and how effective we can be.
I hope this isn't a daft question, but how badly do you as a group want to get a win?
Yeah, obviously we always try as hard as we can to get the win. But yeah, it is. Obviously, we're very early in the sort of rebuild with Steve and the coaches and this group, really. So we feel like we're going to get better and better all the time. I think the Scotland game was a great foundation. Obviously not the result we wanted, but some of the things the boys showed were really positive and really good. But yeah, we definitely want to win this weekend. Obviously we need to for our hopes in this tournament anyway. That we definitely want to, and I think we feel like we're always, every session we're getting that a little bit better, a little bit more cohesive and a little bit more together and on the same page, and excited to get out there now.
And just on the rebuild, I'm just thinking about you personally. Obviously at Exeter you've pretty much always had Rob Baxter. At England you've crossed over a few eras, but it's been pretty consistent. How hard is it when you get a new coaching setup and have to learn a new system, and how is it going?
Yeah, it has been really good. So sort of a bit of a new start, really. I mean, there's things that are new and there's things that aren't. I guess some things that are just part of rugby aren't new, but there's obviously different ways that Steve and Kev and Nick and Cockers and all the coaches want to do. So I guess, but I think the fact that they have been so clear in terms of everything they want from us and what they want us to do in every sort of aspect of the game, it's made that transition, I guess that change much easier. But I say they've been unbelievably clear in what they want from us and what they want us to do. That hoping we'll be able to do all that on Sunday.
Before I let you go, the most important question: your slippers have got zips on them.
Yeah.
It's a pocket. Now that we've highlighted this, what are you going to start keeping in your pockets and your slippers?
I don't know. I could probably fit a couple of biscuits in there.
I reckon you could fit a hotel room key card in there if you tried.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. Well, I've given you a few ideas, if nothing else. We wish you all the best on Sunday.
I'll let you know how it goes.
Thank you so much.
Surrey Orchard with Henry Slade. All eyes on that England midfield tomorrow against Italy. 2:30. Radio 5 Sports Extra. Our coverage starts from Twickenham with kick-off at 3 o'clock, with England desperately needing a win after that defeat by Scotland to get the Steve Borthwick regime up and running. Johnny Beattie, half-time here at Murrayfield. Scotland 13, Wales 7. Lots to digest in that first half. Stuart Hogg off for an HIA, didn't return. We'll wait to see if George North comes back on, but a bit of consternation that North wasn't withdrawn immediately after that Turner tackle. It was shown so many times on the big screen, and somehow as a game we just need to get that right. If someone is hit with that kind of force that merits a yellow card, does that then immediately meet the threshold to go off for a head injury assessment?
Well, there's an independent doctor and it is his role to remove that person from play, so if it's not George North that flags it himself, if there is a high level impact, then he is to be withdrawn by the independent doctor. So yes, would be the answer.
Yeah. And North has gone off, but it's about not risking even one more phase, isn't it? Because we know how dangerous that can be.
But it should be instantaneous. As soon as that goes up on a big screen, everyone here, everyone watching at home knows what needs to happen. He probably knows himself. Having somebody that's had head knocks in the past and struggled with it, he needs to get himself checked out. So he knows, his medical team know, and good that he was withdrawn.
And we'll see whether he does come back on, because his HIA would have started within 10 minutes of the half time. So we'll wait to see George North, and Stuart Hogg hasn't come back on with his head injury. Blair Kinghorn is out there at fullback, and it feels, Johnny, as if we spoke about Wales a lot in that first half, perhaps understandably because they've dominated a lot of these statistics we're looking at our screen. Overall possession, Wales 59% to Scotland's 41. Overall territory, Wales 70% to Scotland's 30. Time in opposition 22. Wales 2 minutes and 44. Scotland just over a minute, but Scotland have 13 and Wales have 7, which is really the only stat that counts.
It's the story of last week as well, for Scotland doing quite a lot with very little possession. Wales holding on to ball very well, but not quite being effective, not smashing away at that gain line and breaking as they would. Scotland defensively holding out. You also say some of the key stats, line out lost for Wales, 2 probably in key areas. That was very telling. 1 pinch from Scotland, but 1 opportunity that really went a begging. When we look at simplicities, when Scotland have had the ball, Wales have already missed 12 tackles. They've made 51, but to have missed 12 because of the strike, the array of passing from Finn Russell, that's what we saw, putting defenders under pressure, stretching them and creating a little bit of havoc. That's when Scotland sparked. So a really intriguing first half, but as you mentioned, most of the action areas has been in front of us, where we are the sort of middle third of the field, or towards Scotland's post, as Wales have held onto ball but not quite done enough with it.
Is that a problem for Scotland, that they have gone 2 games now, or 3 halves of rugby, not 2 games, but 3 halves of rugby without possession territory, or does it genuinely not matter at all if you end up scoring when you do get your chances?
Well, it's very rare statistically to hold on to the ball and take maybe 20, 30, 35% of possession and win the game. Whoever normally holds on to the ball in the right areas would run out a winner, but what Scotland have done is they've lifted off scraps. They've effectively managed to strike from 1 line out. Maul, 1 breakout with Finn Russell, 1 chance that went a begging by tremendous hold up in the far corner. But it's in that arm wrestle. How do you achieve parity? Where do you get the game and dominate those collisions in the middle of the field, so you can allow yourself to work yourself into the right areas and then hold ball? And for Scotland, that hasn't quite happened. Wales have held onto ball, rolled up their sleeves and said, come and get it from us. They've managed to sneak into the right areas, and the game's been there.
Round of applause from the Murrayfield crowd for Andy Nicol, a mate of ours on the radio. He was on the show Thursday night, the Rugby Union Daily Friday morning. Andy with his last TV appearance after 20 years for BBC TV. So hopefully for Andy's case, a Scottish victory and a great night tonight, celebrating a brilliant shift from Andy Nicol, the former Scotland captain. But that's with a Scottish hat on. With a neutrals hat on, this one is in the balance. Wales scoring that Ken Owens try when Scotland were 13-0 up to keep it interesting, and could even have gone in ahead if Rio Dyer had taken the little flick from Dan Biggar. Wales are out first, Jamie Roberts. What would be the, as Jamie puts his headphones on, Wales out first. Messages from Warren Gatlin before we talk Scotland.
Start the second half like they finished the first. I think they've got to really take advantage of this opening couple of minutes. Scotland still down to 14. I think probably for a minute or two, just to try and apply pressure and see if they can sneak some in these opening exchanges. If not, it's just to be smart with the ball. Look, Scotland have come to play. You just hope there's going to be some critical moments in the second half where Scotland are going to chuck it around, and it's either going to work in their favour or really work against them. In those moments, Wales defensively have to be spot on.
Well, George North has passed his HIA. Can see him back out there wearing number 13. And for Scotland, Johnny, we chatted just now about the possession and territory, but Gregor Townsend won't mind if they rope-a-dope another team and soak up possession but then score when they get their chances.
He will not mind. Again, if they run out winners, he will not care how they do it, doesn't matter. But essentially, we cannot allow Wales to start the second half, as Jamie just said, the way they finished in the first. Defensive effort, I think they'll flood the front line, make it really difficult for Wales, slow the game down, chew down that clock, get back to 15, and then start performing, get their hands back on that ball, squeeze this Welsh team. We saw the maul, we saw some of the launch plays in the midfield, Finn Russell, Tuipulotu, Hugh Jones looking really dangerous. So how can they wrestle back, control the ball, and make it really tough for this Welsh side?
Well, earlier it was a classic in Dublin, the two best sides in the world going at it. Ireland winning by 32-19, a game of the highest quality. Perhaps a notch or two below on the quality meter, but captivating stuff at Murrayfield on Sports Extra as Biggar restarts the second half. And did Scotland lose that forward? No, they were happy, but Ben White has thrown a wild ball, forcing Kyle Steen back, and Wyn Jones does well to tackle the winger. Scotland now are in their own 22 through White. First score's going to be big here, isn't it? 13-7, Jamie Roberts. A converted Scotland try would be huge, but Wales will have a line out now in between the 10-metre line and the 22. They can get back very close if they score next.
They can. That's a nervy start from Scotland. Really good kick-off from Wales. No pod there to collect the ball. It looked like Tuipulotu had knocked it forward, but didn't quite get it. Wales 30 metres out from Scotland's line. It's a really good chance for them to fire a shot.
Andy Burke, our friend on BBC Scotland, just texted me from down the gantry saying, I think I've seen this movie before. And to finish the Taylor Swift lyrics, he doesn't like the ending. But as it stands, Johnny Beattie, it is Scotland who are winning. There's a lot of nervousness around from a Scotland crowd when their team is up by 13-7.
There is, and again, a nervy start as Wales try to attack in the midfield. Scotland not getting their exit right, allowing Wales a foothold in the game, back into the same area of the field. And a great cut-up post by Biggar.
Biggar over to Adams. This is where Wales have looked a little bit on the toothless side, and where it will be a territory stat in Wales' favour, but Scotland maybe won't mind Wales attacking round this part of the field. Maybe Wales have a telling intervention from someone. Hawkins wait for it. They thought they were getting a holding on the crowd, but the referee didn't oblige. Good carry, Chris Shinter, really growing into his first Six Nations start. Biggar down the line to Adam Beard. There's Ken Owens with a run-up, the Wales hooker. Good, quick ball. Williams as they edge towards the 22. Out to Rafael, that's a better carry from the Leicester man. Into the 22. Wales with a lot more purpose as Thomas Williams snipes blind. But a penalty against Wales in attack. Entry 15, that's Liam Williams in at the side.
And we talk about that threat, the half break by Williams, just getting away from sport. A little bit of daylight, and the threat of Schumann looming. He's forced to take him out off the ball, clearly past the ruck and in from the side. Liam Williams it is that's pinged.
And he realises his mistake as soon as he's made it, didn't he? He just made contact, lifted his arms, didn't want to show it too late. I think the interesting thing from that passage of play for Wales, Christians are on the ball twice at first receiver. We didn't see it in the first half. It was either the tip-on option or the inside ball option. It's a definite ploy by Wales. They need to get the ball in this guy's hands. He's one of the most dangerous carriers. He's seen his work his magic for Exeter in the wider channels. Okay, he might be operating in the tighter channels, but to be at first receiver and carrying, putting Wales over the advantage line.
And he got up there to almost nick the line. Now, yeah, it was a lot of Ken Owens, a lot of Wyn Jones, but you don't necessarily want those boys on a one-out carry if you're Wales, do you? You want the athletes on the ball, the real athletes like Shinzer certainly is. 13-7 Scotland. Fascinating first 3 minutes, fascinating 43 minutes. It is in the balance at Murrayfield. As Ben White kicks into the pitch-black Edinburgh sky. Well taken by Dyer, but that's a good counter-up coming in by the Scots. Can they win the ball here at the breakdown? No, back on the Welsh side. Jack Morgan throws a dummy. That's high from Scoom, and that's going to be a penalty. Probably nothing more, but both teams giving the other easy outs with ill discipline.
It's a poor tackle from Schumann. Doesn't need to. They've got Wales under pressure. Really good kick from Dan Biggar. Puts them into opposition 22, but they're not really under pressure here. That's just a clothesline tackle. It's a poor one, and again Scotland hope that they don't pay the price for that ill discipline.
Nice bit of footwork though by Jack Morgan, creating something from absolute nothing, putting Schumann under pressure. The big man's forced to stick out a mitt. Poor tackle technique, and it does allow Wales a big opportunity again back down in the Scottish red zone.
What a change for Scotland. Luke Crosby off and Jack Dempsey, the Wallaby, is on to win his 6th cap for Scotland. As Wales through Owens throws, but no one was ready from a Welsh point of view. Owens wasn't sure what happened. No one Welsh was. Scotland may run this out. Russell's ball, Kinghorn up from the back, beautiful break from Blair Kinghorn. This is brilliant from Scotland. That's what they can do. They've gone 50 metres in one phase. Now Russell will wing it to Schumann. Schumann throws a dummy. He's got a couple of Welshmen all over him, but it's quick ball for White. On halfway, Russell kicks. Good charge down coming in by North. Tuipulotu tidies up. But there, Jamie Roberts, was a glimpse of what Scotland could do with a bit of turnover ball, even though it was deep in their own half.
Poor line out from Wales. No one jumped. There's no communication, and then they look at it. I'm surprised for him. That's a lovely kick from Russell.
Might be a 50-22 here. If he was inside his half, it's a 50-22. Was it carried back in? They might have to check this. If we really tight, it's a beautiful kick from Russell. The touch, he's already given it to Scotland, but it's whether the ball went back inside. I think he's all right,
Yeah, the ruck was inside their own half. 9 past to Russell. That's a lovely, lovely kick. I was just going to curse Finn Russell for trying to kick the ball away and got charged down. We spoke about it before the game, didn't we? Loves to kick the ball when maybe it's not on, but that sublime kick puts Scotland on the front foot. It's hard to see them not converting this pressure into points.
Well, exactly, because they've a 26% territory here, Scotland, but they lead 13-7. And there's something different about the Scots when they enter opposition 22. It's the hallmark of the great All Black side. Not comparing the two, but you can have no territory, no possession. But if you take your chances, it's all that matters.
Incredible how it's come about as well. A complete misfire from the Welsh line-out. Again, the ball lobbed into the middle, miscommunication. The ball goes to deck, and Scotland 80-metre gain. Finn Russell again opting to kick through traffic. Not the right first option, but the follow-up kick absolutely tremendous. We see it time and time again for Racing 92. The 50-22 controlling the game, and Scotland now a big launch to go from 7 metres out.
Crowd in great voice as Turner throws and finds Gilchrist. Listen to the noise round Murrayfield as Scotland set up the drive. They're motoring towards the Welsh line. They're beautifully set, the Scots. Welsh bodies everywhere, but it's gone to deck. So therefore, White 5 metres out only. Gray wants a carry. Richie Gray, the big man. Big bust from Gray. 3 metres out, Scotland. They pour round the corner. They're queuing up. They're up to the line. It's been lost by Scotland. And northbound Dyer. And Wales have it. Was that knocked on by Scotland? Either way, it's in Welsh possession.
It's a rush of blood to the head by George Turner. He's just onto the field. He's come onto that ball at a rate of knots, but lost it in his ball presentation.
Back from Williams to Bigger, off, so it's a high tackle, it's a neck roll. And Scotland have given Wales an out, and Wales cling on.
George Turner wasn't held there. He's gone for the second go, which he's allowed to do. He knocks the ball on. He thinks for all money he scored. Thought Rio Dyer's trying to try and get the kick away.
Brian, I need the mark.
Just a high tackle. I think it's Dempsey who's just come on. Bit of a neck grab, trying to hold him up for the maul.
Goodness me, this one's on a knife edge. We've said that all afternoon at Twickenham, this time last Saturday. One of those games where every single decision, every single kick and pass and tackle, the game felt like it could hinge on that. And even though Scotland have the 6-point lead, they're in the ascendancy on the scoreboard. Wales have survived, and for once Scotland don't convert.
It's a great exit by Dan Bigger from his 5 metre, puts it on the 45. Wales still in their own half, but what an exit kick that is. Gives them a couple of options. Do they maul and box kick here, or do they go through a few phases, open at the backfield?
They use Shinza again, who's really growing into this match, isn't he? The Exeter lock just turned 21. but a man who could have a long, old, bright Test career. As Wales truck at the line-out, Owens is flirting with the touchline but gets it away to Williams, who does that box as Jamie Roberts suggested. Who's coming to get that? Kyle Steen does. Good dominance of the airwaves from Kyle Steen, and they might have numbers, Scotland, if they can use it. Dempsey posts it to Russell. Good ball, Russell. Can they get it away? Lovely hands out to Kinghorn, and now Van der Merwe streaking down the touchline. Van der Merwe into the 22. What an attack by Scotland. How slick an attacking side they are. Matt Fagerson comes against the grain on the carry. 6 metres out, Scotland. Can they kill off this Test match? Russell looks crossfield for Steen. Steen will take this unopposed. He's got captain Jamie Ritchie there. Well tackled by Rio Dyer as Wales counter-ruck, trying to stay in the fight, are the Welsh. They've got advantage. Wales kicked it at the ruck. Big collision on Ben White. But still in Scottish possession as we edge towards the 50-minute mark. 13-7. Russell the conductor. Out to Tuipulotu. Kinghorn up from fullback again. What an athlete this guy is. Only 12 metres out is Kinghorn. Scotland drive on once more. Tuipulotu sets it up. They are 4 metres out, Scotland, with a 6-point lead. Van der Merwe, the Twickenham hero, loses it. We'll go back for the penalty, and I think Wales would take 3 if that's what happens.
What an offload. I think it was Hugh Jones out the back door.
13 kicking the ball in the rock.
Blair Kinghorn, they play to width. Sees the open side winger spot, and that is as good an offload as you'll see in Test match rugby. For me, Scotland, amazing lead-up play into 22s. It's happened 3 times in this game. They haven't scored a try from it. There were 2 instances in the first half. Really nice Hugh Jones line break. There was another instance they should have scored a try. And they've taken the wrong option. They haven't had the composure in opposition 22. Now they won't win this game by going 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. Finn Russell's rightly gone to the call. I think Scotland need to score tries to win this match.
But the ability to open up that 3-on-2, the pass by Finn Russell to space, the quality and the technique from Hugh Jones to get that ball round his back and allow Duhan van der Merwe to rage 60 metres, absolutely phenomenal.
Scotland win it at the line out through the imperious Richie Gray, and heave is the instruction from this expectant Murrayfield crowd. They've already scored 1 rolling ball try. They've got an advantage, have the Scots. This is where Russell will want it to work his magic. Penalty Scotland, and we're going to talk cards soon, aren't we? Andrew Brace will have a word with Ken Owens. It is as red zone as you could possibly get.
Captain.
And let's listen to Andrew Brace talk
Captain.
to Ken Owens.
Okay, we did number 4 entry. Okay, not at the hindmost. And we did speak in the first half. And that's a couple now in quick succession. I need you to have a word now, Ken. No more. Yep. If you need. Time is off.
Well, time is off. We have seen in the past captain's turn and then someone take a tap and score, but Andrew Brace has stopped the clock and given Ken Owens time to speak to Jenkins, who's piled in at the side there. Made the call, Jamie, hasn't he, to stop that maul. Can Wales hold on here, or can Scotland? I'd say kill it off. You wouldn't want to be too presumptuous, but a converted try Scotland would put them in such ascendancy.
Yeah, we'd give him a breathing room, wouldn't it? 18-7 or 27 if he converted, if they were to score a try. Now, Dav Jenkins knew exactly what he was doing there. Yes, he's young, inexperienced at Test level, but to come in like that, probably fearful Wales are going to score.
Gilchrist takes it unopposed. The maul splinters. Andrew Brace is peering into that maul to see if there was any illegality from the Welsh. He's happy, and Wales have done well to repel that Scottish maul, but territory is all Scotland. They're 5 metres out through Schumann from White's pass. They're going to use the forwards once more. Try scorer Turner, 5 metres out, 10 metres to the right of the post. They're edging into centre field as White finds Fagerson in his black scrum cap. He trucks it up the Glasgow tight head. Numbers right and left. They're going to go right to Russell. What's Finn Russell got? Russell going himself. Finn Russell, what an offload to Kyle Steen. Genius from Finn Russell. Steen with the try, and it's out the score that breaks Wales's resistance.
The initial break absolutely fabulous to allow them into the 22, but Finn Russell again, we saw this in the autumn when he's on fire, taking the ball to the gain line. It's a 3-on-3. He's got no right to break the line, but gets his hands free. The offload again, the technique to get it away to Kyle Steen, absolutely superb. Beautifully worked by the Scottish 3/4 line, a great finish by Steen.
That's just Thomas Williams. He gets ahead of the ball, doesn't he? I think when you're working as a 3 there in defence and the blinds on, you've all got to come off the line. He's got Ken Owens inside him, doesn't quite get off the line. He comes out the line, creates that seam. That's bread and butter for a player of Finn Russell's quality, to attack that seam, just get hold of the ball, get rid of it out the back of the hand as easy as they like, nonchalant.
And interestingly, it's through the back line that we've made the inroads. That's how we've gotten down to the Welsh 22. We struggled to bludgeon this Welsh pack and get across the gain line and finish things off. But Finn Russell, again, the maestro, started the move back on his 10 metre, 50-22 a few minutes earlier. Beautiful fizz pass to Hugh Jones, and finishes this one on a plate for Kyle Steen.
Can Russell convert? Oh, what a kick. Finn Russell, he made the try, he's kicked the extras, and Scotland have more than a foothold in this game. 20 points to 7, and if Scotland don't now go 2 from 2 for the first time since 96, they probably never will. 28 minutes left, plenty of time for Wales, but Scotland's ability to make their territory count, they've had 64%, or Wales have had 64%, but it's Scotland who lead handsomely on the scoreboard as Jamie Roberts. Warren Gatlin makes some changes with Talupi Faletau among those coming on.
Yeah, mate.
I mean, bringing on a player of his experience and quality, hopefully he can help turn the tides for Wales. 13 points in it. It's only 2 scores, it's not 3 scores. Wales will take confidence from that.
Hold in front, Scotland.
Back from White to Russell, who goes for a long clearance kick. Liam Williams dived for the ball, didn't get it. Bigger will hoist. He's great at gathering these bigger, but he's got a lot of traffic to get through. That's good shepherding work from Richie Gray, experienced. Made himself look invisible, which is tough for a bloke who's 2 metres high. But it meant that Scotland could claim it. Russell can kick. Dyer traps it with his foot, didn't quite back his left to right until he runs himself, and this is where Wales may have to go off script, and that will suit Scotland down to a T. Rhys Carré is on the replacement loosehead, but the ball is loose again for Wales, and look at the energy coming from Scotland's defence and this crowd. Liam Williams almost gets through. Good tackle, Fagerson, Xander Fagerson that is, as Thomas Williams comes to the left. Don't really seem to have numbers though, Welsh. There's a lot of forwards out here. Shins are in the wide channels. He bumps off one and sets it up over halfway.
Tackler.
There for Thomas Williams. Radio 5 Sports Extra. 53 minutes gone. Live at Murrayfield. Scotland 20, Wales 7. Jamie Roberts, the Wales and Lions great with us, as is the former Scotland number 8 Johnny Beattie, as Bigger goes for a kick. Taken really well. Is that Sander Fagerson, is a Johnny peeling round, or George Turner? There was a front rower in the scrum cap. Russell now out to Hugh Jones, wide ball to Van der Merwe. Something happens every time Scotland put it through the hands. They're a class apart from Wales in that regard, and they lead by 20 points to 7 as White finds Gilchrist out the back to Russell. What's he got up his sleeve? He's going to go for a kick, trying to pin back Bigger. Penalties Scotland. 13 red, that's George North.
Never onside.
He was never onside, according to the referee, Johnny Beattie. I'm saying the referee's not Johnny Beattie, the referee, Johnny Beattie. And Scotland could go into the corner.
Definitely not quick enough to be a ref, Johnny Beattie. Look, excellent play again. Scotland looking dangerous. It's when Finn Russell sticks air on that ball, gets it into the hands of Hugh Jones, brings Duhan Merv into the game. You can just see the Welsh defensive line freeze a little bit. That's all it takes to find the gain line, get across and threaten. And absolutely, when they've gone to space, they've looked excellent.
Camera's panned on George Turner. That is one of the most impressive bits of defensive play I think I've seen from a hooker. He's in the defensive line. He is actually read. Only 13s really do that. He sensed the little chip over the top. George Turner's in anticipation to turn from the defensive line and gather that kick. Was really, really, really smart. Unreal play from Scotland's hooker, and it gives them the opportunity to counter. Now they win a penalty. Now they have an opportunity, and Wales is 22 yet again.
And Turner, who's been in the game, how much has he been in this game? He's had a yellow card, he's scored a try, he's gathering balls in the backfield, and he's on the money finding Matt Fagerson. Now he's peeling away, and Scotland have it through. Van der Merwe's off his wing. Lovely play, Van der Merwe. He should have given it to Russell, but he kept hold of it, the giant wing. And Scotland can kill Wales off here. They've got numbers to the right. Ben White, Xander Fagerson, helped out by Gilchrist. 5 metre line for the Scots, who are attacking in waves and are cock-a-hoop. Finn Russell, can he get the offload away to Dempsey? Not quite. White in centre field. He snipes, he scored at Twickenham, he's looking to score at Murrayfield. Advantage, penalty against Wales, and it's going to be a yellow card, and this is turning nasty for the Welsh.
Cynically killing the ball.
Big decision to be made now for Scotland. A yellow card for Liam Williams, coming in and killing the ball. But Scotland now, do they go for the corner? Do they dare to think about a bonus point? Do they take the 3 points? It looks like Jamie Ritchie's asking Finn Russell to go to the corner.
Well, this is a confident Scotland side, because if the demons of 1996 were lingering, surely you take the 3.
9 and 10, fellas, time off.
Yeah, certainly to make it 3 scores, that's a smart play. It feels an emotional decision, doesn't it, to go to the corner there, looking at bonus points. Is it a bit early? It's minute 56 on the clock. Okay, it's a yellow card, but let's remember, it's a yellow card to your fullback. It's not a yellow card to one of the forwards where you can potentially get some dominance in that maul.
Changes for Wales leading the pitch.
Interestingly, Warren Gatlin, there's change in the half-backs. On come Rhys Webb, Rhys Patchell.
Number 22, Rhys Patchell.
Tough environment to come into. Murrayfield buoyant. Scotland 20, Wales 7, and Scotland are enjoying their most prolonged bit of territorial gain of this match, and they throw into the line out. Oh, what a drive that is from Scotland. They got such impetus, and Turner's at the back, he wants a second. They're peeling around the corner now, Scotland. Another try would be terminal for Wales and would be huge for this Scotland side as they look to do what no Scotland side has done since the 90s. Out to Russell, who's going to kick. Finn Russell's kick is on the money, and Kyle Steen will walk it in, and surely that's the try that takes Scotland to victory.
It was Liam Williams in the bin, wasn't it? Yellow card. Where's the space? Where is the space in the backfield? Finn Russell. That is one of his strengths, identifying that space. That was an easy kick. It's a walk in for Kyle Steen, but the confidence, the clarity to call it, the execution, it looks like game over for Wales now.
The mouse by Finn Russell. Again, the work done by the Scottish back. Just knocking the Welsh back, again back, getting them on the back foot. The Welsh defensive line forced to come up, down a man in Lee Williams, acres of space in the backfield. But the execution by Scotland, by Finn Russell, absolutely first class.
Well, Kyle Steen has got a double in quick succession as the proclaimers rings around Murrayfield. It is party time in Edinburgh because Scotland are rampant. They've barely beaten Wales in recent years. Once in 2017 at Murrayfield, once in a dogfight in Llanelli behind closed doors in 2020. Warren Gatlin's never lost to Scotland. 13 of the last 15 Six Nations games between the two have been won by the Welsh, who have won 6 of 7 here at Murrayfield. And even though Russell can't convert, Johnny Beattie, Scotland 25, Wales 7. And if Scotland just keep playing, this could be a very enjoyable last 20 for the men in blue.
You're jinxing it, Jonesy. Seriously, jinxing it. A big advantage, yes. Wales down to 14, yes. But absolutely finish this game off properly. 20 minutes to play. Show the improvements that have been made over the past couple of seasons. Go through this final 20 minutes. Put your foot on the throats of the Welsh team and finish with style properly, efficiently, and win for the first time, as you mentioned, since 1996. 2 games, first 2 openers would be spectacular.
Yeah, they have to go to Paris still, Scotland, but they are putting themselves in a great position to make a dart at this Six Nations Championship. I know it's early, but it's uncharted territory for the Scots. 25 points to 7 Scotland lead, and if Wales have any intention of getting back into this game, scoring next is a non-negotiable. But the wit Scotland put on the ball is cutting Wales up, and when you've got a man like Van der Merwe in space, it's incredibly difficult for Wales. Fraser Brown out to the Scotland forwards who carry. A man is down on the far side is Blair Kinghorn, who's played a lovely game at fullback since coming on. Russell is just working the backfield here with Liam Williams in the bin. Rhys Patchell on for bigger. He juggles with it, and Patchell will just kick And the Welsh body language doesn't look great out there, but Scotland and Russell are loving it as Russell prods a kick, trying to get behind Cuthbert. Cuthbert does get back the experienced wing, and he will kick, but only as far as the sanctuary of the halfway line. Solid clearance from Cuthbert, but Wales, Jamie Roberts, don't need solid.
Wales on the line, please.
They don't need solid, you're right. I'm surprised Finn Russell kicked that ball. They made their way to the middle of the park. They actually had about 7 or 8 on 3. And that was a chance to play, but I think Finn Russell there, in his mind, he's thinking is 25-7. Do I take the risk? Do I try and play the width and cause another line break? Or do I just be a bit safer, a bit more pragmatic? 60 minutes on the clock. I'll kick long, force Wales to either play or kick back.
Thank you.
Johnny Beattie stands and watches this Scottish line out. What are the emotions, Johnny? Because Scotland don't have to do too much different to what they're doing in the second half, do they?
Look, strangely pride.
Well, they've got away again, Scotland, but they're coming back for a penalty. A bit of crossing in the midfield, so Wales will have the penalty, but as you were saying, Johnny,
pride in the way they're attacking the game, but just looking for that growth, looking for that maturity and assuredness to the last 20. A penalty on the half, trying to play, will allow Wales back into the game. Not ideal. That's what you want to see. All the promise, all the shoots that have been there, can they bring together this consistency? Can they finish strong and strangle this Welsh side? That is the question.
Well, Jamie Roberts has just put a mini egg in his mouth, so I'm going to ask him a really difficult question now. I'll give you a moment, Jamie. Wales penalty, got to happen now for Wales, hasn't it, as Patrick goes up to the 22?
It does, all good. I can demolish mini eggs pretty quickly from experience.
I barely touched the sides.
And I've got a big mouth as well, so great opportunity for Wales here.
They peel away from Jenkins' line out steal, a claim rather than steal. It was Welsh ball. Faletau, Williams to Owens. What do Wales have in attack? They're into the 22. Have they got something to break up this Scottish defence? Chinza carries, that's a decent bust from the youngster. Therefore, Thomas Williams. George North is at first receiver. He sets it up. It's methodical from Wales, and they are making ground. But have they got the killer touch? Driven on by Rhys Carey. Centre field for Wales. 13 metres out or so. Rhys Patchell throws a dummy. Scotland did well to get in his passing lane. Up comes the Scottish defence as Wales look to go round the corner. Rhys Webb, the replacement 9. There's Cuthbert up from the back. Webb again finds his forwards, driving on 6-7 metres. Not bad this from Wales as Patchell finds Dylan Lewis. Lewis helped out by fellow prop Carey. There for Webb, out to George North, who tries to dance on the outside, but the tackling is good from George Horn, who's on as a replacement for Ben White at 9 for Scotland. Wales set it up. Again, they're about 10 to 12 metres from the Scottish line as Dylan Lewis again charges into the guts of the Scottish defence. As the Welsh travelling fans try and get behind their team. That's a good bust from Rhys Carey, who's made a difference ball carrying. There for Rhys Webb. Webb finds Faletau, who comes round the corner to Lupi Faletau. The replacement with 97 caps now under his belt. Alex Cuthbert. Have Wales got a score in them to keep this one alive? George North is tackled by Russell, but quick ball for Webb, who darts and finds his forwards 5 metres out. They're still going, Wales. They're still plodding through the phase. They've got the penalty on the 16th phase. Scotland infringe. And this is where, if you're Wales, what do you do, Jamie Roberts? Do you scrum?
You're the second man.
Oh, you don't feel
out. That's why it's a penalty. Second man.
You don't feel 3 points is enough. They've got to score a try. You know, where the penalty is on the field, if you're tempted to scrum, you've got a split defensive line. Yeah, Wales have gone for the scrum. Just felt like Wales were not really going anywhere there. Lots of phases, not really breaking the advantage line. It was that carry back against the grain by Rhys Carey that gave them the real impetus. You know, a lot of people in Wales have been really disappointed. Rhys Carey was left out in November, the Test series at Wayne Pivac. You know, he's one of the best ball carriers in Wales, and you know, often we talk about Wales not really having this depth of ball carriers, and Rhys Carey has come off the bench. I think he's shown in 2 or 3 carries now that he's one of the best Wales have.
Very effective, but critical time for Wales now. They've actually had 9 visits to the Scottish 22. Scotland, I think, have only been in the Welsh 22 5 times. So now that they're here in camp, pick up points, fight your way into this last 15 minutes, give yourself a chance. There's still a man down in the backfield, so this scrum is going to be absolutely critical. The platform they can give, what can they allow? George North who messed up in the first half, coming offside. Offensively, what can they create now, Wales?
No funny games here, guys, okay?
25 points to 7 to Scotland with just over 15 minutes to go.
Come on.
Radio 5 Sports Extra from the BBC, your home of the Six Nations. 5 Live Sports Extra, BBC Sounds, the Rugby Union Daily, out every single day during match weeks. We'll take a bit of a break next week, so forgive us for that, but back with a bang for Wales-England week, as well as Italy, Ireland and France, Scotland. The big games just keep coming in this Six Nations, with so many good teams this year. 3 of the world's top 5 in the world rankings. 4 of the world's top 6 are in this tournament. As Leon Brown comes on for Dylan Lewis, and Scott Baldwin, who's having a bit of a international renaissance of his own, he's come on for the captain, Ken Owens. Who leads the side, Jamie, if Baldwin's on for Ken?
Set. Stay ball.
Fascinating. I'm just looking down the team sheet.
Adam Beard, maybe, if he's still on. Reece Webb finds Patchell. Hawkins steps. Good tackle to Pelotu. Got him on the upper body. Cuthbert comes round the corner. Patchell has to clear, so they're down a playmaker, Wales. Instead they'll truck it on. Reece Carey almost got through. Faletau's little ball to Carey, and as you were saying, Jamie, he's probably been Wales' most dynamic carrier in the last 10 minutes since coming on, but they lose it, Wales, and Russell clears up to the 22.
He was really unfortunate there, Reece Carey. Lovely sleight of hand, Faletau. He's over the line. Just didn't do it with the ball, which you kind of need the ball to score in rugby. I think it was a really good defensive play. Just gets scragged, doesn't it?
Just Matt Fagerson again, a big paw comes out, just manages to take the ball out of his hands. What a turnover that is on the try line. High risk for Wales, Jamie, a tip on in that situation. Normally we just see one out runners, get yourself a weld, a latch, grind at that gain line. Going high risk there, it not paying off, but they get another bite at the cherry.
Well, Wales throwing at the line out, and they crab into the Scottish 22. Again, they're looking at 1 point per visit, Wales. Like last week, it's just not going to win your test matches. As Scotland look to repel this Welsh drive, but it's a decent enough maul for Wales if they can keep it going. Yes, they can. 10 metres out now, decent Welsh maul. The new replacement forwards doing a job here, but Wales are 25 points to 7 down, and the clock is ticking, and Scotland have forced the scrum. So even though there was go forward, Johnny Beattie, Scotland have done so well to stop Wales recycling and win the scrum of their own.
Big disappointment for Wales, again generating some decent forward momentum, getting Scotland on the back foot. The ball goes to deck, the ball is there, but just killed by the Scottish pack, knowing the rule book, killing that ball, not allowing it to be played. Another crucial turnover for Scotland, and Wales have just been a little bit blunt in this area of the field. They've been down here time and time again, but as you mentioned,
when you're ready, when
you're getting down here, you have to capitalise, you have to take points, and they just haven't been able to get across the line.
Same story as last week, Johnny. You know, the opportunities, I think Wales blew 7 or 8 opportunities last week to score against Ireland. Not patient enough, not clinical enough in opposition 22. That is where the game is won or lost in modern day test rugby. You've got to be really, really accurate, and Wales are just lacking that at the minute.
Edging towards the final 10. Night time in Edinburgh, penalty Scotland, and that might, Jamie Roberts, be that. A try for Wales to 25-14.
Go forward, 18.
And you never know, but Scotland have kept them out, then won the scrum penalty. And Scotland are looking like a very assured side at the moment as they prepare to clear up to halfway through Russell.
Yeah, they do. It's going to be interesting to see how Scotland approach this. I think they make the 40. It's not a great kick from Russell, but I'd expect them just to put this in the air. They don't need to overplay. You know, Wales have got to chase this game now. They've got to take some serious risks, and you know, either they claw their way back within losing bonus point territory, or they lose by 40.
Claimed in the line out by Scotland. Johnny Gray is now on. The Gray brothers making a big impact on this championship. They've got an advantage, Scotland, and this is just manna from heaven if you're a Scotland fan here at Murrayfield. They're controlling the scoreboard, they're controlling the set piece, and they can afford to have a little dab through Hugh Jones, who's playing football, and eventually Andrew Bracehead's advantage over us Liam Williams, who's back from the sin bin, peels away, but that is just what you need, Jamie. If you're sitting in the Scotland midfield and your forwards go scrum penalty, maul penalty, are you thinking about the evening beer already?
You're thinking about whether you're going to get the ball or not, Chris, to try and enjoy the last quarter of an hour, well, last 10 minutes and running some tries. So look, it's industrious work for the Scotland pack, isn't it? Scrum penalty, maul penalty. Let's see where Finn Russell can put this penalty kick. It's definitely going to be in Wales's half, but how deep? He's almost made the 22. So Scotland now 30 metres out. This is about pride now for Wales. You know, you speak the 25-7 down. You don't want this to become an embarrassing scoreline.
Well, make sure you stay with us on Radio 5 Sports Extra. At the conclusion of this, we'll be getting post-match reaction from Johnny Beattie and Jamie Roberts, also some live reaction from the touchline as well, as Scotland throw into the line-out beautifully through Brown. They claim it at the tail of the line-out, and they're getting a really nice maul going, and the two teams are looking in very different places as we speak. Scotland 25, Wales 7. Some Welsh fans are still trying to sing and spur their team on, but it's all Scotland as the Blue Waves attack. Nice little post from Tuipulotu. Finn Russell with the kick pass. Van der Merwe doesn't break stride. He's down the left touchline. He gets it inside. Oh, what a try from Scotland. What a score. Blair Kinghorn. It's rugby heaven for the Murrayfield crowd.
You won't see many better tries than that. Beautiful sleight of hand Tuipulotu. Lovely little half-field cross kick. Duhan van der Merwe, I mean, we saw him last week, but in full flight. It goes round Alice Cuthbert. The vision to pass back inside to Kinghorn, who's got the pace to finish it. That is a try out the top draw here at Murrayfield.
Oh, I mean, when you've got someone of Van der Merwe's power, Jamie, and you put a ball on the plate like Russell did. Look at that, he doesn't break stride, does he? It's like the try he scored at Twickenham last week when Matt Vegas had put it on a plate for him. And Blair Kinghorn has been great since coming on at fullback. What an athlete this guy is. I know that Gregor Townsend's looked to him as the number 10, but he looks really at home in the back three. And he wasn't going to be stopped. And this is a hammering now. Scotland 30, Wales 7 with the kick to come.
It is a hammering, and it's a dark day for Wales. And there's still 8 minutes left. I think no one was expecting this scoreline. Certainly not the Scots, I think certainly not the Welsh. They've just been outplayed today in most facets. Certainly up front you feel the dynamism, the power game, the scrum, the maul. The advantage line has belonged to Scotland. Wales have rarely fired a shot, and when they've got opportunities to score, they squander them. They don't have the accuracy to apply pressure through phases, let alone go forward through phases. So it's been a frustrating afternoon for Wales, and there's 8 minutes, you hope for Wales' sake, 8 minutes not of pain left.
Well, bonus points are a bit of a sideshow in this great tournament. It's really about winning and losing, but Scotland have got 2 try bonus points in 2 weeks. They scored 4 at Twickenham, they've scored 4 now against Wales. 2 from Carl Steen, Kinghorn and Turner. And Johnny Beattie, you just did an update for our listeners on Radio 5 Live. Your reaction to that beauty of a try, another Scottish beauty.
Just the reaction again, the efficiency of getting to that flank, playing to space, and the threat they've shown the three-quarter line, the ability to break a tackle, offload, and create absolute havoc. We saw it at Twickenham. 4 tries again for this Scottish side. The belief they'll take from the performance when they put air on the ball, but also the Scottish pack, the platform that's been given at maul time, at scrum time, dominated the Welsh red jerseys. They'll take massive confidence, great heart, big performances to come against number 1 and 2 in the world, France and Ireland, still to come before playing against Italy. And a great game for Scotland.
It's a long way to go, but Scotland have never started a Six Nations like this. Wales attack, they've got field position because Russell kicked it out on the full, but you sense the Murrayfield crowd don't really mind. There just is not enough time for Wales to get back into this, and actually they're playing with some of their best urgency, with Faletau and Shinza amongst the carriers. They go to within 5, Wales, 7 minutes on the clock. Webb out to Rhys Patchell. Patchell sets it up. 4 metres out, they go round the blind side. Faletau again, he's almost up to the corner flag there to Lupi Faletau. Webb, Wales pile forward again, 2 or 3 forwards carry. Webb will look to the right where there are two Scottish defenders. Backwards it waits, says referee Brace. 6 minutes on the clock. Scotland being urged to keep Wales out. That really will complete a brilliant day at the office for Scotland if they can hold Wales up, and I think they can. Rhys Carey came storming away, and we'll just wait to see what Andrew Brace has decreed. The body language from Wales doesn't look as if they scored, although even if they had scored, there wouldn't be much cause for celebration.
Yeah, look, Steve Tandy, Scotland's defence coach and Welshman, may I add, I'll be delighted with that. The desperation, the urgency. Just looking at the pictures here, it doesn't quite look like he's grounded it. Rhys Carey, we've spoken about him, he's been Wales' best ball carrier, albeit having only been on the pitch for about 25 minutes. But Scotland's defence coach, be delighted with that. There's nothing better as a team when you're ahead in a test match and you're comfortably winning, but you show the desire and urgency to stop the opposition from scoring a try, Johnny.
That's the digging in, nothing to play for but pride, defensive integrity. What can you show? How can you keep this Welsh side out? So Steve Tandy will be absolutely delighted as Matt Fagerson again pops up from the bottom of that ruck. Another huge defensive effort from him after weighing in with 28 tackles last weekend. Tremendous finish coming up.
Wales have it through Cuthbert. Galloping over the halfway line is Alex Cuthbert. But it's all too little too late for Wales, who have lost the ball, and Scotland immediately, they flick a switch on turnover ball. Kinghorn's up from the back, Russell's in the wide channels, throws a dummy, lovely ball to Chris Harris. Russell sometimes has this ball on a piece of string, doesn't he? And like all the really good teams, Scotland come to life on turnover ball, and they're stretching Wales edge to edge here as Jones stabs it through, pinning Wales back. Williams not certainly takes it, but all he can do is look for touch. Or is he going to keep it in? Kinghorn gathers it, that one of the try scorers. In between the 22 and the 10 metre line into the final 5 on Sports Extra. To the left comes Scotland again. They are totally rampant at Murrayfield. And that man Van der Merwe is having a real time of it this Six Nations. Therefore White, everyone wants their hands on the ball, including WP Nelly's on. He flips it on.
7!
It was James Batty, the loose head there. Finn Russell throws a dummy, he's almost through, gets it away with the ball out the back. Did it go backwards? Yes it did. Harris is at dummy half. All these Scots want their hands on the ball, Johnny Beattie.
Stay here.
Incredible. It's Finn Russell's decision making on the ball for me. The threat that he poses, again, the ability to pump the ball, to show, to ask defenders questions on the gain line. That makes the static defensive line stop. It allows runners to come onto the ball. So much fun to watch.
Oh, good ball from Jamie Ritchie. Carl Staines on a hat-trick as the crowd gets their feet all around us. 30 points to 7 Scotland. They are not stopping. This is painful for Wales and their supporters. Kinghorn, loose pass. Picked up now by Hugh Jones, who's got on a wide. Good ball, Hugh Jones. Kinghorn was almost thinking of the space he had, and he dropped it, but it didn't go forwards. It's there for Van der Merwe on the far side. 8 phases Scotland, just short of the 22. Penalty advantage. They get a penalty, Scotland, and Jamie Roberts slaps the table. Johnny Beattie. Conversely, you can't have seen much better Scotland performance than Murrayfield in recent years.
Dominance. It's quite incredible again to see a Welsh side so bereft of ideas, but defensively, I mean, Scotland there have had the ball chucked back, it's not gone to hand, it's bobbled on the deck, but they still look to have time on the ball. That's what's incredible. Wales, they could come up, they could pressurise. That's what we're used to seeing from Sean Edwards' era. Big defensive efforts, blitzes, line speed, but Scotland have just run them ragged. They're exhausted and out on their feet. And now Scotland, 4 minutes to go.
6.
A penalty to kick to the corner and turn the screw even more.
It's even more beautiful to watch Scotland do this consequence free, right? They're 30 points to 7, just delicious rugby at the minute.
Oh, Fraser Brown's throwing flip passes inside.
Okay.
It is party time at Murrayfield as Brown drives it on almost to 5 metres. The experienced hooker Fraser Brown, 59th cap for the Glasgow man. Deep in Wales' 22. Can Scotland convert again? Horn out to Dempsey. Dempsey's almost up to the 5 metre line. Does Russell want this ball, or will the forwards just keep trucking? Rhys Carey's looking for a steal. I think he's going to get it, is he? No, it's going to be a penalty to Scotland. And this might be another yellow card. What was it? Rafael on the ball, Carey?
Who's the new captain?
He's asking who the captain is. Do Wales have a captain?
New captain.
Finn Russell, man of the match.
I've got no problem you competing for
Adam
the ball.
Beard, yeah.
But once he's lost it, he doesn't have a second attempt, okay? Must go hands away then.
Well, looks like
Rock is formed.
Wales are going to survive. And Scotland today scrums, they kick to the corner, they tap. Russell's got all of the options. And he will prod it into the corner. Almost goes backwards, actually, from Russell, but it matters very little. Scotland with the line out, 2.5 minutes left. And Johnny Beattie, Scotland are ending this game. If there was ever any doubt, the pressure, the nerves, 1996 and all that, this is proper dreamland stuff from Scotland as they throw into the line out, win it again through Johnny Gray, and go to the maul. Listen to Murrayfield. Scotland in possession, they're trucking round the corner. Fraser Brown has got this tucked under his armpit. Chris Harris is going in, Hugh Jones is in, wearing 13, Hugh Jones. Just short of the line now, Scotland. There for George Horn. Plenty of options. Jamie Ritchie, the skipper, he's to within 3 metres. George Horn to the left, they're going to walk this in. Finn Russell over the top, and a try for Matt Fagerson, who really deserves it. One of Scotland's best players the last 2 weeks. And what a flourish from Scotland, what a finish. A 5th try. They've been absolutely magnificent today. Batman Russell with the pass. Fagerson couldn't miss. Scotland 35, Wales 7. It's an absolute rout at Murrayfield.
And this place is absolutely bouncing. This isn't something we've seen at Murrayfield or experienced in an incredibly long time for a generation of rugby fans and players like me. So the fact that this Scottish side are finishing with a swagger, running another try in, their 5th of the afternoon against the Welsh side. I mean, just incredible scenes. Incredible for the crowd, the rapture around this place when Finn Russell was announced as man of the match. This is a different Scotland side. There's a real belief around the place, and it's just wonderful to see. It's been doldrums for a number of years, and could this be a little change in the tide?
He was dropped for the autumn, Finn Russell. Distant memories now. He's back making tries. 5 now for Scotland. And, well, this would really put the icing on the cherry on the cake. If Russell can convert this with the last kick. Maybe, maybe not. From the left touchline, Russell just to the left. And it's 35-7. Dark day for the Welsh, Jamie.
Very dark. I mean, we'd have to check the record books. It might well be a record score. I'm not quite sure, but a penny for Wayne Pivac's thoughts. It is a dark day for the Welsh. You know, I would have expected Wales to be far more competitive up here at Murrayfield. They've been poor in a lot of ways, you know, none more so than in opposition 22. But the class of rugby is Scotland have been a different class today, and I can't, through modern times, I don't think I've ever said that. And you're right, Johnny, it does feel like a turning of the tide for Scottish rugby.
Well, Wales have it. Scotland sensed an opportunity to score another off turnover ball, then they lost it, and now Wales have it on Scotland's 22. Reece Patchell, decent ball to Dyer. Dyer could be in here, Rio Dyer. Despairing tackle from Scotland, who'll be desperate to keep Wales out in this second half. It was 13-7 at half time. Wales haven't scored a point in this second half. As Shinza carries into centre field, good tackling by Harris, who gets up the way to avoid giving away a penalty. Wales truck it up. Scott Baldwin, the replacement hooker, there for Webb, but listen to the noise, listen to the crowd. 35-7 to Scotland as Wales forlornly go through the phases. Penalty, Scotland not rolling. Webb will tap and go, but it's all futile for the Welsh, who have numbers over to the right. Cuthbert took it, stepped inside, met by a reception party of a couple of Scots, deep into the red now. Last play of the game, definitely, as Carey finds Leon Brown. There for Reece Webb, big ostentatious dummy from the scrum half. Ritchie's on that ball, shades of Twickenham. Jamie Ritchie, the captain, has the final word. A week ago was a one-score game as Scotland scooped a Calcutta Cup hat-trick. The question was whether they could back it up, and the question has been resoundingly answered in the affirmative. Scotland have tapped and gone. They're going to get another 10 metres. George Horn kept wanting to play. He tapped George Horn, and Wales have got a man in the bin. And this is astonishing because surely they're going to end it now. Yeah, Russell taps and he belts it into the crowd and Murrayfield's on its feet. Last week Scotland went to the well, a one-score game against England, and when asked whether they could make it 2 from 2 in the championship for the first time since the 90s, what a statement from the Scots. A thrashing, Wales humbled, a rout at Murrayfield. Scotland 35, Wales 7. Johnny Beattie.
A piece of modern rugby history for young Scottish fans coming into the game, getting involved in Scottish rugby. It's been a dark few years, even as a player. The lack of success, the lack of run of games and victories. But this now, an incredible, the Scottish coaching staff just walking behind us. Similarly to Twickenham last week, not getting overawed or overhyped. The reaction, business as usual. Is this a new Scottish side? The Scottish crowd thinks so. That was absolutely emphatic, categoric in so many ways, the dominance on field. And can they carry it on now? Fallow week to come. A lot of rugby still to be played against some top class opposition. But what a game and what a result for this generation of men in blue.
Let's just listen to the Murrayfield crowd sing a bit. There's hugs and there are selfies all around us. What a day for Scottish rugby. Last week was special. What a game that was at Twickenham. Scotland scoring 4 tries in London. Seldom do teams do that. And now Finn Russell with his medal round his neck, the man of the match medal. He's shaking hands with those Doddie Weir sons down there, Johnny Beattie. This game played in memory of the great man Doddie Weir, the Doddie Weir Cup, and how proud Doddie would have been today watching his beloved Scotland win, but not just win with panache and style and flair, and getting the team invigorated and the crowd on its feet. 35 points to 7, 5 tries scored by Turner, twice from Kyle Steen, Matt Fagerson and Blair Kinghorn as well. It's a special day for Scottish rugby. They will be keen to point out that it's just the start, 2 from 2. Goodness me, they're going to the Grand Slam champions in a fortnight. For Jamie Roberts, for all the pre-match talking from Dan Bigger, we thought, oh, is this going to be a Wales smash and grab? Is it going to be a Wales rope the dope, a Wales Gatlin special? At half-time in the balance, but that second half was desperate times for the Welsh.
Blown off apart tonight, Chris. Look, it's a dark day for Welsh rugby. Let's be brutally honest about it. We thought that loss at home to Georgia in November was a bit of a watershed moment. Warren Gatlin's come in. He's had a very, very limited amount of time with his side, but it just feels like Wales, often when teams get in transition, we talked about how polarised their experience is in their squad. A lot of older players. A few of them paid the price this week with a selection. A lot of younger, raw players who don't know what it takes to win at this level, and Wales might pay the price for this. Looking ahead to England, I just can't see us winning against England in 2 weeks' time.
And when you're watching that, Jamie, as a man that was used to success in a Welsh jersey, you had so much success. What do you see in terms of strategy, tactics, the change as the game moved on? This group of players, the different, like, what could they change on field? What low-hanging fruit or quick fixes could you bring to this Welsh side or offer solutions to Gatlin, who's just come in?
I think Warren, it starts at the set piece and on the advantage line, right? Wales blew 3 line-outs, I think, in critical positions on the field today. It's unacceptable at this level. You can't operate as a test side, work really, really hard against opposition 22, and then your jumper doesn't even lift in a line-out. It's absolutely criminal. And look, I just fear this Welsh side might pay the price for some poor decisions that have been made for the last 3 years. We've been hanging on to older players for quite a while, but we're caught in a bit of catch-22 now. Do you back these senior players to Rugby World Cup, or do you blood youngsters? If you're going to choose the latter, which Warren Gatlin did today, there's potential you're going to suffer some pain, and unfortunately Wales have suffered that today. A lot of their players inexperienced, quite raw. They lacked a bit of leadership today. I didn't really see the leaders stand up and be counted. It's a really, really dark day for Wales, and yes, we've got England in 2 weeks' time, but they need to dissect this performance. It's a really, really disappointing one.
We'll get post-match reaction when it comes in with Jamie Lyle on the touchline. Lee McKenzie from BBC TV is gathering interviews as well. Just one more on Wales, Jamie, before we talk Scotland, and it kind of is a question to do with Scotland as well. Lots of talk about a new manager bounce from England fans, Wales fans, Steve Borthwick coming in, Warren Gatlin coming back, but are we in a situation when the existing teams who haven't had to make a regime change, as Scotland prepare to lift the Doddie Weir Cup, and Jamie Ritchie just down to our left has the cup, and this is a familiar sight. Jamie Ritchie clutching a trophy, Calcutta Cup last week, Doddie Weir Cup this, and look at the contrasting body language from the two sets of players. So this whole new manager bounce, new coach bounce thing, it's a thing in football. It was a thing with Gatlin in 08, Eddie Jones in 2016. But are the other Six Nations teams, the ones who haven't made regime change, so consistent now, so connected and so advanced in their phase play, their tactics, but actually there's nothing a new manager can do because they've been beaten in all kind of facets of play?
I think cohesion is the key word. You talk about 2008, you talk about 2016. Those 2 years are the first year into a World Cup cycle. That change is made at the start of a Rugby World Cup cycle. To make that change 8-9 months out from a Rugby World Cup comes with significant risk, and unfortunately Wales have paid the price in the last 2 weeks. I saw cohesion from Scotland today. There's a lot of talk about Gregor Townsend and you know his potential with the Scottish side. Is he fully going to reach it? It looks like they're on an upward trajectory, and they've been really, really. I think cohesion is the key word. You watch Ireland play, you watch France play. They're all on the same page. They're fluid in attack, brutal in defence. They understand each other. There's a real trust. We didn't see that from Wales today. They're still not synchronised in their attack, and certainly defensively they're not on the same page. Scotland, on the other hand, it's just beautiful to watch. When you see their attack in full flow, Finn Russell pulling the strings. Defensively, they're very smart. They pick and choose their moments with experienced players who have been through some pain. Johnny, you mentioned it. They've been through a bit of pain. There's been a lot of questions asked about this Scottish side, but the investment over the last few years now feels like it's reaping its rewards.
And that's the cruelty. So if you now look at England, so Borthwick, how many games does he have in charge for the first World Cup game? He doesn't know his 10-12. He doesn't know. Warren Gatlin has inherited a squad in disarray that just lost to Georgia and Italy. You're looking for an emotional reaction that hasn't come. But how much can he change? What tangible change can he find in the next 2 or 3 fixtures before you're into pre-season camp? For the World Cup, your prep's completely different, and you're straight in. That's the cruelty, and the amount of time and prep that Gatlin and Borthwick will have is so limited. It's almost mission impossible. Compare that with Gregor, with a settled squad, a fit squad, a fluidity. You mentioned cohesion, but a fluidity to how they see and they operate and the vision they have as a team together. And we saw that today firsthand. The difference in class between the two teams and how they function was enormous. The gulf was huge.
Barely anyone's left Murrayfield as Scotland do a lap of honour. Jamie Ritchie prepares to get interviewed, clutching the Doddie Weir Cup with the Doddie tartan around the top of it. And you felt if Wales were going to do this, it would be that kind of smash and grab, putting it up in the air, raining bombs. But the weather's fine, the pitch is quick. Scotland have had 2 quick surfaces, 2 dryish days in the last 2 weeks. And they're too good an attacking team now, aren't they, Jamie? They are so good to watch. They've got ball players across the back line. Their passing is on the money. And they are great to watch.
They are great to watch, but they have quality. It's not just cohesion. I look through this Scottish side, right? That back row that started is fantastic. Ritchie, Crosby, Ferguson, all brutal players. Richie Gay, we talked about his this Test career has just bounced back, isn't it? He's in the form of his life alongside Grant Gilchrist in the second row. I look at this back line. Hugh Jones is a world-class player. Duhan van der Merwe, world-class player. Stuart Hogg, world-class player. Kyle Steen, Tua Piloto, both potential to be world-class players, but are operating at Test level. We've seen Finn Russell on the front foot is just a cut above. Ben White's been fantastic the last 2 weeks. They have quality, and they have quality in depth. Kinghorn off the bench. Chris Harris was a starter in this team. He's been forced out. Hugh Jones has been outplaying him. So Greg has built strength and depth. He's built a competitive environment, and it's just quality. You compare that quality against the Welsh side at the minute, we're miles off it.
Yeah, from what I hear, England had a tactic to try and turn Duhan van der Merwe, try and expose the fact he's perhaps not the best on the turn, on the retreat. He's a big man, he can be got at in the air. but it doesn't. When he's getting balls, they're getting the best out of him, Johnny, aren't they? By giving him balls in space, whether it's from the boot or from the hands. He ran 150 metres today.
Well, that's it. With the quality of distribution from Ben White and Finn Russell, when Finn is fizzing the ball wide like that into space, and you mentioned like world class is banded around a lot, but I would say Hugh Jones on the front foot with quality ball and the ability to bring others into the game around him with quick hands or an offload. In an attacking sense, he was absolutely phenomenal, and that is the beauty of this Scottish game now. If you can play to space and break the line, you can cause absolute carnage. That's the beauty of it. But I think that is where we've talked about two teams now that are in disarray. So we've talked about England, don't know where they are. Wales, a little bit lost as well. The big test for Scotland is about to come up. You're about to come up against Ireland, who are the number one side in the world, just dispatch France, and then France, another completely different physical challenge. Those two test matches will be a litmus test for this side. Are they going to finish in the top first 2-3 places in the Six Nations, or will it be third, fourth? That will be the big defining moment, and we'll find out in the next few weeks, which is hugely exciting for Scottish rugby fans.
2 weeks to prepare for Paris. Let's just hope they don't die wandering out there. Let's hope they don't get caught in an arm wrestle. Play the footy we saw tonight. It's class. Let's hear from the man who's behind it all, the player of the match, Finn Russell. He's with Lee McKenzie.
Well, Finn, huge congratulations. Scotland have done what they've never done before in the Six Nations and backed up a first round victory. Just sum up the emotions.
Obviously it was a great game and a great result for us. We knew we struggled after winning the first game to back it up, and I think the boys put in a good performance today, which was great to have back here at BT Murrayfield.
Now, you might not have personally touched down the ball to get on the score sheet, but my goodness, you created some tries out there today.
I was just doing my job out there, so making other boys look good.
But that's something sums everything up, Finn, in that you have the confidence in the boys to be able to finish off those tries. You see the space and you know that they will go over and finish, and maybe that's not been there in previous years. Things haven't gelled in previous years.
Yeah, I think you showed the continuity in the squad. Boys all on the same page, and that allowed us to attack like we did today. The messages at the end was go for another try, and then we just turned it over, so maybe have to look back at that. But no, I think the attack today was really good, but also the defence shut them out a little bit, so a good performance all round.
Congratulations, Ben, well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, good performance all round. That's putting it lightly. Our reporter Jamie Lyle is on the touchline. He is going to get some live reaction very, very soon. Andy Burke from BBC Scotland just speaking to Jamie Ritchie, who's clutching the Doddie Weir Cup, and hopefully Jamie Ritchie will go over to talk to Jamie Lyle. And a word about the Scottish captain. He's finding it all right, isn't he, Johnny BT? Started in the autumn, he's playing the 80 minutes. His performance is leading from the front. He's winning he's the one who won 2 tournament penalties to put the cap on both performances. Deja vu, almost 2 weeks apart. And yeah, have Scotland found their long-term leader?
Look, he plays the game right on the edge. He's part of a team that functions, but his individual role within that, both sides of the ball, he's been excellent in his individual performance today. Slowing down ball, creating turnover, and then ball in hand. We saw a couple of times the sleight of hand, the skill set as well, to create space for other people around him, allow Kyle Steen down the wing twice. And absolutely used to having silverware in his hands. How many Scottish captains in recent memory can we say that about? But today he was top class.
Well, his back row partner Luke Crosby is down on the touchline with Jamie Lyle.
Luke, incredible scenes here watching the players go and take the acclaim of this magnificent home crowd. How much fun was that to play, and how much are you enjoying being a part in a winning Scotland team?
Yeah, definitely, especially coming, we just spoke about backing up that performance away at Twickenham, and especially coming back here, we knew it was a big occasion, home support, motivation from all that, and especially Doddie as well. So we've backed up that performance here and then got the win, is what we wanted to do for the fans.
A lot of questions were asked of this team over the past few years and last weekend. Could you back it up? Could you follow one winning performance with another? Do you feel they've answered them emphatically enough today?
Yeah, definitely. In terms of all the external pressure, I know it's the same kind of repetitive stuff, but we just focus on ourselves. Like, we're just trying to focus on what we can do. We've built this squad up for the past few years. Everyone's comfortable with each other, and we're connected really well. And you can see that on the pitch, that we're backing up those results, just playing instinctively what we know we can do, and we're displaying that on the big stage. So it's great all round.
What do you feel's changed this year? You're executing opportunities. I can't remember a time when Scotland scored that many tries against Wales, that many points against a strong Welsh team.
I know, it's just in terms of the stuff we do in training, we're just putting it straight on the field. We've got a big focus on, just in terms of that mindset, that we've got that so much belief now and trust in our system and attack and defence. When we're under pressure, we're not focused on any pressure externally. We know we're capable of doing it. We're just going out there and performing it, which is getting the win for Scotland. There's nothing better.
And just very quickly to finish off, Luke, you've got a couple of weeks off now. You can go and get that bloodied nose seen to and have some downtime. But how do you raise your game again going to Paris? Immensely physical, a team that lost for the first time in 15 today. You'll need to be better again.
I know, obviously down at Twickenham we got the win, but there was stuff we wanted to improve on, so we took that to the week. We'll do the exact same again. Whatever the result is, if we win, it doesn't mean all's good. There's still aspects of the game that we can work on and take it in the next game. But now we'll enjoy this, make sure everyone's all right, the recovery's done right, and we'll come in firing for the next game.
Luke, go and get some ice on that nose. Well played, top man.
Jamie Lyle with Luke Crosby, part of this excellent Scottish back row with that captain Jamie Ritchie and Matt Fagerson, who is having a great tournament, and he was the one who scored that 5th try for Scotland. We'll hopefully hear from Gregor Townsend very shortly before we go off air. And Johnny Beattie for Scotland as they prepare for France in 2 weeks. What's the plan? Just more of the same?
Well, we've actually caused...
Go to Paris with a plan to win.
Well, we've caused them some real issues. The past 2 or 3 times we played against them, we won for the first time recently in Paris as well. So you go there with confidence. You're playing well. France again will take in a knock. They were poor in Italy. They were undone today, but they played some exceptional stuff over in Dublin. They'll want to get back in front of their home support for the first time in this tournament and lay down a marker. For Scotland and France, it's all about the physicality. How do you manage those game line collisions? How do you work your way into a game and pressurise the French? Get them to give away their discipline. A huge test match coming up.
Well, Gregor Townsend's the man to ask all these questions to, and he's on the touchline with Jamie.
Well, Gregor, that was a resounding win. I'm struggling to think of a more resounding win for Scotland over Wales in recent memory. How proud are you of that performance, and what pleased you most about the way you made that a comfortable win in the end?
The second half performance. I think when you look at a second half performance, what do you see? You see a team that has learned from the first half. You see a team that's together, that is fit as well, and then some of the parts of our attack and defence were at a real high level. So that second half was outstanding, and we really fed off the momentum of each other. The bench made a big impact too, and we just need to make sure we get a first half performance at that level as well.
There have been a lot of questions, a lot of noise around this team and whether you were able to back up the big results that you've had throughout your tenure as Scotland head coach. You've done that today. You're 2 from 2 for the first time since the 90s, since you were playing for Scotland. How important was it to cross that hurdle? I'm sure it's not something you feel psychologically, but it must tell a little bit.
No, look, the next game is a challenge. We knew we had a big challenge today against a Welsh team that played well against Ireland, that had a good record against us, a quality team. So that's the next challenge. Whether history tells a different story, that's irrelevant to us. The next challenge is getting better again. We set high standards and we didn't reach them against England. Today we'll look back and go, we can be much better. And yes, the opposition plays a part to that, but we will have to be better to beat France. We know that for sure.
There were mischievous Finn Russell fingerprints all over that second half performance, particularly the tries for Kyle and for Blair at the end. How impressed were you with his display, his maturity as well, the tactical kicking, the 50-22s, as well as the moments of magic that'll be going viral as we talk?
Yeah, you know, probably the most impressive part of his game was his defence. They went down his channel and he made tackle after tackle. So to be able to defend like that and then have the control, focus and accuracy in your attacking game, particularly in the second half, shows that he's a really competitive player, and he was making really good decisions that second half, and it's almost like a different decision each time. It's either him have a run, him have a pass, or him have a kick, and when you got the threats outside you, that makes it really hard for the defence to know what you're going to do. So yeah, a really good second half performance.
Is this the best you've seen Finn play? He's got a lot of options outside him. It feels like the connectivity in that attack almost allows him to express himself, gives him lots of decisions to make, and whichever one he makes seems to result in goal dust for that second 40.
Yeah, I think the game against Argentina was probably the best performance he's played for a few years for Scotland, and it was such a high level with his running threat, his kicking and passing threat, and today in the second half was very similar. And the players outside him too, like Sione, although he didn't get much ball today, gives him that option, that direct carrier who's creative. Hugh is running ability, but today's passing ability, freeing up the wings. Blair, when he came on, was a revelation with the speed he played at. And then our two wingers, I thought, were very good. They held the width, that stretches the field, that opens up kick pass opportunities, but then opens up the space for the midfielders. So, yeah, real collective effort, and when Finn in that form, we can really get the best out of our attack.
There were a couple of verbal grenades launched by Dan Biggar a couple of days ago in the lead up to this one around Scotland's consistency, the narrative around Scotland being a team that plays well but don't back that up the following weekend. Is that the sort of thing you have nailed up on the changing room wall, Jim Telfer style, or do you try and block that out?
No, we don't actually. We talk about ourselves. The words that we've used to each other all week are important, and we were better today than last week, but it's still a little bit off what we're capable of, and we now have a week to regroup, a week to see the opportunity that lies ahead of us, but require more work and improvement if we're going to get that win in 2 weeks in France.
Yeah, you're off to Paris in a fortnight's time. Just lastly, where do you see the main areas for improvement? Where do you need to get better to go 3 from 3?
Probably our continuity of set piece. We didn't get that many strikes out today after the second phase. It wasn't nothing to do with our liner was outstanding, but whether it was contact or just running lines in the first half, that's a big source of possession to impose your attack on the defence. Second half was better, like playing off mauls was really good, and then playing off counter attack with our kicking game. But there are big opportunities more opportunities I should say, if we can get our first phase game into gear.
Greg, I really appreciate your time. Well done today. Thank you.
Thank you very much to Jamie Lyle and to Gregor Townsend for all his time, and to Johnny Beattie and to Jamie Roberts. We're going to go and get some more live sport here on Radio 5 Sports Extra. What a performance from Scotland. They've won by 35 points to 7 to go with the big win from Ireland earlier in Dublin against France. We are though going to go to South Africa, the Women's T20 World Cup, commentary of Australia against New Zealand with Alex Hartley, and first Henry Moran. Henry.